For years after I wrapped up my acting career in adult films, I lugged around this same suitcase from apartment to apartment, never once cracking it open the whole damn time. I knew damn well I'd never need that suitcase with all my on-set essentials ever again. That whole world was gone, dead and buried. Died right along with me, even though the big guy upstairs is still putting up with this lustful flesh of mine. So while I still got time, I want to lay it all out there for you. The whole damn truth about me before they twist it into lies. Andre hadn't had any work for several months now. He was sick of doing jack shit, sick of being broke, sick of writing up all these TV project pitches that just kept getting shot down.
Moscow, Russia, autumn 2006, Andrew's apartment. Dima. Hey, slacker. Andre. Hey, what's up? Dima. Can you come to our cafe now? I've got something to discuss.
Without delving into specifics, Andre got dressed. 15 minutes later, he was at the agreed-upon location.
Meet Sasha, our cinematographer. And this is Ivan Ivanovich. He's looking to bankroll a new project.
Not looking to bankroll. I want you to make a friggin' porno movie with my money.
Porn? Do you have any idea how bad that could end for us?
Told you he'd shit the bed.
Andre, we're going to Budapest. Everything's already set up. We just need a director.
So are you in, or should I forget about you?
Yes, I'm in.
Hi, who am I and what am I doing here? Simple, I'm a security guard at the hospital. My name is Ivan, and I monitor the security cameras. I'm the only person that dying Victoria Weiss trusted with her secrets. Why is that? I don't know. It's just something she decided. I installed extra cameras in her room, and now I record everything Victoria says. Stay tuned for the end. It'll be very interesting. Believe me, I know it.
Andre spent nearly the entire night restless in bed, his mind buzzing with excitement. The opportunity to shoot with Europe's premier adult film studio, coupled with a significant payment and a share of the movie's sales, ignited his imagination. The only concern that troubled him was managing his impulses. Yet as dawn approached, he eventually drifted off to sleep, dreaming of Paris, a city he had unexpectedly visited just before his wedding. Back then, Andre had no idea that this journey would utterly transform his life. During a late-night walk through a less reputable district, Andre observed a cluster of Russian women tourists gathered outside an adult film theater. He overheard one of them persuasively saying, "Girls, let's go. It's just an hour and a half, but the memories will last us a lifetime." From the poster, Andre's gaze was met by the image of a striking blonde named Jessie Blonde. He purchased a ticket and made his way into the sparsely filled auditorium, finding himself seated next to that very group of Russian women tourists. They strategically positioned themselves near the exit, planning to discreetly slip out of the theater before the lights came back on at the end of the movie. The small island of seats was still as several pairs of female eyes watched the screen with envy, captivated by the portrayal of genuine passion by a blonde beauty. Suddenly, Andre recognized that he couldn't restrain his excitement. What was this feeling? Was it mere lust, passion? Or had he unexpectedly fallen for the enchanting Jessie? He shifted uncomfortably in his seat, attempting to suppress the overpowering emotions. However, unable to calm the surge of feelings, he rushed out of the theater. And for an hour and a half, only the group of Russian women tourists remained motionless, their eyes eagerly glued to the screen, as if they were absorbing both the forbidden and the unknown.
How would you react if you were in Andre's shoes? And not only in the hot district of Paris, but also if you received an offer to make an adult movie. Would you do it? Or would you run away out of fear? Write in the comments. If you liked what you saw and heard, put a like and subscribe. And we continue.
As morning approached, Andre gently moved the rumpled blanket aside, and aiming not to disturb his sleeping wife, quietly left the bedroom. He pulled a DVD case from the back of the shelf, displaying a portrait of his beloved Jessie on the cover. For the first time, watching adult films transformed from a source of pleasure into a form of work for him. He endeavored to distract himself, ignoring the recognizable curves of the nude female figure and tuning out the sensual moans. But the instant Andre allowed himself a moment's distraction, his desires took control, just as they had countless times before. And what would happen on the film set when he's surrounded by a bunch of nude girls? In the evening, Dima visited. After they had exhausted all topics of conversation and the cognac had been consumed, Andre, with his eyes lowered, voiced,
Honestly, I'm quite apprehensive about taking on this task.
You know, there's no backing out now. You agreed. And I've already accepted the upfront payment.
With a feeling of resignation, Andre counted the money. Truly, there was no retracting his decision now. He didn't disclose anything to his wife, and every day, an hour before Lena returned from work, he would stash away the provocative DVDs to maintain an air of harmless work professionalism. He also had to recalibrate emotionally, greeting his wife as though nothing was amiss. However, the most challenging part surfaced during the night. Lena enjoyed intimacy but wasn't one for experimentation. She was firm on, as she phrased it, keeping it vanilla. And as per her definition, anything beyond the conventional missionary position didn't make the cut. Andre had long adjusted to his wife's preferences and always aimed to satisfy her, establishing a harmonious dynamic in their relationship. But now something had disrupted this well-established routine. Andre was following the usual pattern, and suddenly he climaxed prematurely. This jerked him back to reality, and he realized that all this time, the woman next to him in his mind hadn't been his wife, but the blonde, Jessie. Lena didn't catch on to this transition, and by all indications, she was nearing her own climax. However, sensing a lack of the usual firmness, she halted and pulled away.
Andre, what's happening? You can't get hard on me?
Lena, I'm sorry. I came early, but I thought I could last.
You thought you could last? My God, you don't have it in me.
The morning was as bleak as the night had been. Lena departed for work in silence, not even pausing for coffee. Meanwhile, several dozens of letters from Hungary had arrived. Each letter contained photos of just one nude applicant.
Dima, hi. Grab your passport and hustle over to the cafe immediately. We've got everything wrapped up.
Crossing the border with substantial amounts of cash and returning with dozens of recorded tapes presented one of the biggest obstacles. Yet a solution was discovered. They wouldn't fly to Hungary. No welcoming party would meet them at the airport with signs saying, "Welcome to the capital of adult films." Purchased regular bus tour tickets to Budapest, where amidst a crowd of everyday tourists, they planned to blend in and vanish.
Well, director, are you ready to fuck the planet?
Don't worry, with your assistance, we'll definitely screw everyone over.
Free advice. Try not to be rude to me, director. That's all. Get to work. I gotta go.
Dima, your Hungarian contacts have sent me over 100 letters filled with pictures of nude women. And what's with these continuous requests for script alterations? Am I missing something?
Calm down. Why are you so riled up this morning?
I just want to understand. Are we making a regular porn or a real piece of erotic cinema?
I suspect Andre will be producing what you termed as a regular porn.
Dima's revelation didn't so much scare Andre as disappoint him. As a creative person, he wanted to try making something more or less serious in that genre, rather than settling for the classic cliches. With those thoughts, he returned home, opened the front door, and froze in shock on the threshold. Lena's sobs could be heard coming from his room. He could hear Lena's sobs resounding from his study. Andre remembered that he had forgotten to shut down the computer when he left, and even worse, he had left his email open.
It didn't take long for Andre to hide his lies. Was it necessary to hide from his beloved and secretly engage in obscene business? Do you think he will be able to get out of such an ambiguous situation? Write about it in the comments. I wonder if your opinion will coincide with the plot of our story. Subscribe to be the first to know about it.
Lena was haunted by the memories of the previous night. She realized she'd overreacted and had unjustly hurt her husband. It's something that could happen to anyone, especially since he had tried to explain something, but she hadn't listened. Although she could have called and hinted that a surprise awaited him at home, Lena decided against it. She chose to wait and apologize to him face to face. She brewed some coffee, walked into Andre's study, and settled down in the chair next to his laptop, intending to check out the latest updates on her Facebook page. The first thing she was greeted by was an image of a nude girl in a suggestive pose, brazenly showing off all her assets. The subsequent photos were even more explicit. Crying, Lena opened one email after another, and more women appeared on the screen, their lascivious eyes seeming to mock her. She didn't hear Andre enter the room.
Lena, baby, calm down, my dear. Let me explain everything to you.
What could you possibly explain? You're not interested in me anymore, but behind my back, you're messaging some bitches. And I was going to make up with you. What an idiot I am.
If you try to listen to me, you'll understand that you're wrong.
Lena forcefully pushed him in the chest, dashed out of the room, and locked herself in the bedroom. Andre followed in a helpless daze, only to encounter the locked door.
Lena, I'm sorry I lied. I was scared. They warned me I couldn't tell anyone about this. It's a very delicate subject. I was commissioned to make a very specific kind of film. And what you saw was just preliminary casting for actresses.
So those naked whores are actresses? Don't tell me you were hired to make a porno.
You can mock me if you want, but I really was offered to direct a porn movie.
Was Tinto Brass busy this month?
Lena took a considerable amount of time before she finally opened the door. Wiping her tears away, she stepped out. Andre cautiously embraced her and started speaking rapidly, seeking to clarify as much as possible.
Those chicks are just work. They're nothing compared to you. You know how much I love you.
I was just thinking, are you gonna get turned on during the shoots?
They both laughed, and Andre fervently kissed Lena. No longer did she care whether the room was dim or brightly lit, whether their neighbors could overhear her moans or what was going on around them. She felt as though she was soaring into another, previously uncharted realm where encompassing passion seized not just her body, but also her consciousness.
What made Lena believe Andre's story? Curiosity, love, easy money, or her secret passion? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you are curious how everything ends, subscribe to our channel, and then you will not miss anything.
Lena was raised in a prudish family where the mere mention of the word sex would induce fainting spells. And even a brief sighting of a naked female breast on the television screen could cause a global uproar. To this day, Lena was baffled about her own existence. Even in her most terrible nightmares, she couldn't visualize the scene where a nude father and mother would go to bed to conceive her.
Thank goodness you came over. I wouldn't have been able to handle this mess on my own.
What are you talking about, Mom? How could I not come for Dad's funeral?
I'm flat broke now. Got no clue how I'll get by. Guess I'll have to sell some stuff.
What about Dad's garage? Why don't we sell that? You don't need it anyway.
It's an absolute pigsty in there. Your father always promised he'd clean up that garage, but he never got around to it.
Descending the steep stairs, she felt along the wall for the light switch. A moment later, the bare bulb on the ceiling flickered on, illuminating the small room. Lena's breath caught at what she saw. Every wall was meticulously plastered with photos of naked women. There was everything. Yellowed newspaper clippings from the early 90s, glossy pages ripped from modern mags, some medical diagrams, vintage nudie postcards, and so much more. Lena stood in the middle of her dad's secret temple of love, sobbing. After composing herself, she gently peeled each photo off and stashed them in her bag. Mom could never know. Let this be their little secret forever.
Her father's secret, which Lena accidentally learned about, made her say goodbye to her naive childhood forever. Do you know what your parents are hiding from you? What secrets do they keep, protecting you from shocks? Write about it in the comments if you are not afraid of your parents' anger. And don't forget to subscribe and like. It will help us to be together all the time.
The morning started off great. While Lena was luxuriating in the shower, Andre made her coffee and whipped up some scrambled eggs. She ate with gusto, kissed her husband, and dashed off to work. Now he could calmly wrap up yesterday's tasks. Andre opened his email. There was a new message from Hungary in his inbox. They'd approved the latest script draft and were waiting on his actor picks today to start pre-production. Completely unbiased now, Andre reviewed each of the candidates.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, the Hungarians approved the latest script draft. About to start casting the girls.
Found any hot candidates yet? Maybe we can pick together, if you know what I mean.
There are some stunners for sure, but I like to tackle this one solo today.
All right. Work solo then. Just don't overdo it and switch hands occasionally.
After the talk with Lena last night, it really had become just another job. But various thoughts kept swirling in Lena's head after their chat. Mostly pleasant ones, though that nasty little jealousy worm kept worming its way in, annoyingly buzzing and painting ugly pictures in her mind. Sometimes she'd envision coming home to Andre masturbating over those naked Hungarian beauties. Other times those very same nude lovelies would seduce him right on set and he wouldn't resist, letting them do everything to him that she did last night, but more passionately and cinematically.
Okay, let's see these supposed bombshells you're looking at.
Babe, we had an agreement, remember?
Oops, my bad. I mean actresses. Where exactly do they study such thespian skills?
Get this. Besides actresses, there are actors too. And some very well-endowed thespian types.
Why don't we start with them? I've always dreamed of checking out some well-endowed acting talents.
Not satisfied with my own acting chops anymore?
Your chops more than satisfy, babe. But a girl can't help but wonder what else is out there. Gotta try new things, you know?
To secretly love an adult film star? What foolishness, because there is real love and real passion. And it already seems ridiculous what Andre was so afraid of. And if you were on the set of an adult movie, would you be able to contain your passion? Write in the comments. Subscribe and like will make our love even stronger.
Early in the morning, they arrived in Budapest. Andre glued himself to the window, gazing at the landmarks passing by, bathed in the rays of the rising sun. He realized that it was unlikely he would have the opportunity to leisurely explore the city on this trip. Yet at that moment, he couldn't possibly fathom the surprise Budapest held for him just a short while later. Merely an hour after checking into their hotel, they were already stationed outside the entrance of the film studio, awaiting their tardy translator. Finally, she materialized. They say certain people are perfectly impossible to ignore, and she certainly belonged to that category.
Good afternoon. Apologies for being late. I'm Teresa.
I'm the one you've been corresponding with. It's a pleasure to meet you. I hope our collaborative work will be equally enjoyable.
I guarantee satisfaction.
If anyone had speculated what a studio responsible for creating some of the best adult films in Europe might look like, then they could easily rest easy and discard any fantastical images they had drummed up. A single-story annex tucked away inside a courtyard well, adorned with damp, peeling walls that showcased narrow, slit-like grated windows. Next to the door was an understated sign bearing the studio's name. This was the entirety of the setting. Inside the office, they were welcomed by a short, stout man with a grand mustache.
Dobro požalovat. I'm Istvan Molnar.
Oh, so you can speak Russian?
Mr. Molnar rapidly conversed in a jumble of Hungarian and English. Istvan's eyes lit up as she began to speak. He leaned back leisurely in his oversized leather chair, sustaining the dialogue with Teresa, his gaze sweeping over each of the newcomers before freezing on Teresa. The other newcomers took in the office surroundings, their mouths slightly open in mixed surprise and admiration. The walls were embellished with brightly colored advertising posters, each showcasing stunning models frozen in evocative poses. The shelves displayed an abundance of statuettes, apparently awards from an assortment of festivals. Any leftover space was crowded with photos, showing their recent acquaintance arm in arm with the world's top adult film actresses.
Mr. Molnar is pleased to meet you. He prefers to go by Monti, his artistic alias. Naturally, he'd like to start by discussing financials.
It's pretty cut and dry when it comes to that.
Ivan Ivanovich lifted a hefty leather bag off the floor, unzipped it, and started laying out stacks of cash on the table. With each additional bundle, Monty's eyes widened progressively before beginning to dart around with a hint of nervousness.
He says no cash. He's worried about dirty money issues and potential legal troubles.
Tell him not to piss around. He'll do everything right and get paid the same amount on the day we leave.
Koro show. I'm in.
During the casting, the attendees were wrestling with their self-control. The entrance of another bear goddess from behind the drapes elicited a pronounced perspiration among them. They blushed, clung to the back of the sofa, and made every possible effort to suppress their evident emerging desire. Andre didn't even realize when yet another woman entered the room.
My superstar. My gift to you. A present for your movie. My superstar Jessie Blonde.
He was simply beyond caring at this point. What a familiar name, Andre muttered, looking up with a gaze that solidified into pure admiration. Indeed, it was that very Jessie Blonde, the alluring siren from a Parisian cinema poster. He knew, though hopelessly, that it was then he had fallen for this tantalizing blonde. And now, he was prepared to throw it all away and bolt, simply to shake off the reignited flame within him. Lena's entry into his life naturally led to the slow evaporation of his passing infatuation, with authentic love taking the upper hand. However, with the dream suddenly materializing into tangible form, Andre started to question his own capacity to resist. Around 30 years ago, a tragedy happened. Monty's car was in a horrible accident, killing everyone inside, and he was the only one who miraculously survived. With multiple fractures, he was rushed to the hospital, and when he came to, he learned that he would likely never walk again. Despite the doctor's pessimistic prognoses, things started looking up for Monty, and within 6 months, he took his first step. Truth is, he remained a crippled gimp for life, and worst of all, he would never feel like a real man again. On his first day back from the hospital, a young girl entered Monty's office, hiding her eyes under a lush blonde fringe, and settled at the edge of the rowdy line of girls. She sat silently flipping through a magazine, paying no mind to her surroundings. No flashy makeup, just simple jeans, a t-shirt, and sneakers. From the side, it might have seemed like this girl got the wrong address and ended up here by accident, not even realizing what awaited her behind that door. She placed her application on the desk and stood in the middle of the office. A fat, mustachioed man, without looking up, slid the papers toward himself.
Please, introduce yourself.
Judith Polgar, 18 years old.
Get undressed.
Monty was tired, his head pounding, but more than anything, he was upset that out of nearly 100 candidates that week, he hadn't selected a single one.
Is there anyone else left?
No, I'm the last one.
Monty finally looked at the girl, and it clenched everything inside him. She was the one he'd been searching for so long. Innocence cloaked in passion, an angel of lust, a goddess of debauchery. He could keep coming up with epithets, but the smooth flow of thought was interrupted by reality, the bruises on her wrists and shoulders catching his eye.
Where did that come from?
Had a fight with my stepfather.
Was he making moves on you?
Why should I explain myself to you? You're not the police or my father?
I'm more than your father. I'm the one who can make you a happy person.
I don't know why I came to you, but for some reason, I feel like you might be able to help me.
Monty looked into her sorrow-filled eyes, and with each minute he felt himself falling more and more in love with this sinful child. Judith spent that night at Monty's house, but this time everything was different from before, different from the others. He didn't even touch her. They sat in the kitchen for a long time drinking wine, and Judith told her sad story of how just 6 months after her father's death, her mother brought home some man and announced he was now her father. But he turned out to be a monster because of whom the girl felt she had lost the ability to love forever. She woke up very late from a phone call, the clock already showing noon.
Good morning, Judith. Get ready quickly and come to the office.
Half an hour later, she entered Monty's office and nearly fainted at the sight. Her stepfather was kneeling in the middle of the room. He could barely lift his head, and through the narrow slits of his swollen eyes, he cast a pleading look at her. His entire face resembled an overripe plum.
If you bastard, so much as lay a finger on her again or even think about touching her, you'll regret the day you were born. Do you understand me?
Bitches, I hate your whoring faces.
He didn't get to finish his sentence as Monty's heavy cane slammed between his legs with a crunch. The slumped body was dragged out of the office by the guys. He wiped his hands with a damp towelette, settled into his favorite chair, calmly lit a cigar, and addressed the stunned Judith.
All right, your new life begins now. And the first thing you need in a new life is a new name. Judith, come here.
On the table lay a sheet of paper with several made-up names written on it.
Choose the one you like.
The girl quickly scanned the lines and pointed her finger at one of the names.
Jessie Blonde.
After meeting Lena, Andre completely forgot about his stupid crush on the movie star. The DVDs with Jessie Blonde's films were shoved to the back of the shelf and forgotten. And somehow his young wife filled up every aspect of Andre's life in a wonderful way, capturing not only his heart and body, but most importantly, she occupied his mind with her presence, pushing out the lustful star. But now that protective barrier had been breached and images of Jessie started flooding Andre's mind again. This time, they weren't just virtual like before, but were taking on quite tangible features, and it terrified him.
Andy, what's on your mind? You freaked out too?
Yeah, it's not even about being scared. I just want to get the fuck out of here.
You hit the nail on the head, man. I'd love to get the hell out of here myself. I can't even imagine how we're gonna shoot all this fucked up shit tomorrow.
And this is coming from the guy who stirred up this whole shitstorm.
And you're the one who's gotta deal with the fallout. Hey, maybe we should hit up some chicks. You know, so we don't shit ourselves on set tomorrow. I heard the hookers here are smoking hot. You down?
Oh, fuck off.
All right, suit yourself. I won't ask again. Hey, Teresa, it's Dima. We were thinking about having some fun. You know any decent brothels around here? You're coming over now? Okay, I'll be waiting.
He put his cell on the nightstand and dialed the extension where Ivan Ivanovich and Sasha were staying, suggesting they have some fun. They gladly agreed. At first, Dima didn't even recognize Teresa. Instead of the plain Jane who had been tagging along with them all day, there stood a stylish girl, ready for a night out on the town.
Wow, you look amazing. What happened to the Teresa we met this morning?
She's got a routine and already hit the sack.
Lena had been feeling uneasy all day. She understood that the first day was the hardest, that he was tired, and had things to think about before tomorrow's shoot. It wasn't until close to midnight that she finally decided to send a text.
Hey, what's up? If you can, hop on Skype. Miss you.
Andre read the message and turned on his computer. Almost instantly, a call came through and Lena's image appeared on the screen.
So, how's it going in that den of iniquity?
Hey, Lena, I'm kinda anxious. Can't even imagine how tomorrow's gonna pan out. Today was just a lot.
Andre vividly described everything that had happened to them during this time. The casting, the funny fat Monty, even the pimply secretary. The only thing he didn't mention was his encounter with Jessie.
What, you're holding out?
I'm trying my damnedest here.
I've got an idea. Tomorrow, tape it down so it doesn't bulge out of your pants.
You're being silly, but thanks for the advice.
Where are your partners in crime?
I won't lie. We hit up a whorehouse.
Why'd you stay behind? When else are you going to get a chance like this?
Because I love you.
Well then, here's my gift to you.
Lena got up from the couch, put the computer on the table, adjusted the screen so that Andre could see her full body, and dropped her robe. Andre was going crazy over what was happening on the other side of the screen. It was as if he could feel her body and its vibrations, as if he was right there with her. She only occasionally opened her eyes and glanced at how her beloved was enjoying her. Lena felt that this game wasn't just pleasing to him, but that she was enjoying it more and more herself. Andre realized that the blonde Jessie was a fleeting whim that couldn't be called love, and that he would definitely put an end to it. The taxi pulled up to the neon-lit entrance of the nightclub where Teresa worked. As they approached the bouncer, she said a few words to him.
You promised to take us to a brothel, but this is some kind of nightclub.
Not just some kind of club, it's my club, and I've been working here for over 10 years. Remember, I guaranteed you pleasure. Well, here it is. Enjoy.
She flung open the wide double doors, and the guests were hit with a blast of blaring music, the shrieks of the crowd, and the scent of uninhibited desire. Teresa led them through the main room so the guests could get a feel for the vibe of the place. They climbed some steps, and the bouncer obediently pulled aside the heavy curtain to the VIP area.
Make yourselves at home. I'll be back soon. The waiter will bring drinks and snacks. If you want, you can head downstairs.
Damn, this is wild. Just look at what those sluts are doing down there. I'm staying put. Who needs your fucking brothel anyway? Sasha, hand me one of those wristbands.
No hard feelings, Dima. I think I'll probably stay too.
They're staying. But we're going to the whorehouse. I'm already in the mood.
Teresa took Dima by the hand and led him through the winding back corridors of the club. They zigzagged through passage after passage, up various staircases, down another long hallway, until they arrived at a closed door. Teresa pulled a key out of her purse and inserted it into the lock. They entered and found themselves in a strange room with a transparent floor and mirrored ceiling. Plush velvet cushions were scattered all over the floor. Dima cautiously stepped onto the glass surface and looked down. Directly below him was a stage where several couples were engaged in intimate activities.
Dima, why do you need those whores from the brothel? Trust me, I'm better.
He certainly hadn't expected this turn of events. Dima stood in the middle of this bizarre room, unable to say a word. An almost stranger of a girl, completely unclothed, pressed up against him, while somewhere below, under his feet, a wild orgy raged on.
I liked you right away. This morning even. Don't think I'm some kind of slut. I just miss being around decent guys. I've had so much sex in my life that I've forgotten what real love is. I don't even remember if I ever had it. And you're so sweet, so endearing. I think you just act like a tough guy. Kiss me, please.
Dima had always wanted to seem edgy and experienced. His friends hung on his every word when he'd brag about his sexual exploits ever since 8th grade. But in reality, there had been no such adventures. The stories were mere figments of his imagination. He'd never been in a situation like this before and had no idea what to do next. Teresa, as if sensing this, took the lead. She pulled off his clothes and pushed him down onto the huge cushions strewn across the floor.
You're so weird. When was the last time you had sex?
Nothing like this has ever happened before.
But I haven't even done anything yet.
And you call this nothing?
It'll get even better.
To Dima, it felt like an eternity had passed, but in actuality, they spent no more than half an hour in the mirrored room. Teresa sat with her legs curled under her on the cushions, leaning against the plush velvet wall, smoking a cigarette. Dima lay beside her, his head resting on her lap, gazing down through the glass floor.
Did you like it?
You bet. I feel like an illiterate first grader who just learned to read from the teacher.
You're so cute. I think I'm falling for you.
Well, it doesn't seem that way to me.
They lay entwined for a long while, watching the fading scene below, until Dima suddenly realized how much time had passed.
What time is it anyway? We've got the shoot tomorrow.
4 o'clock. We still have time to get some sleep.
They made their way unhurriedly through the night-cloaked city. Teresa clutched Dima's hand like a giddy schoolgirl, content and blissful. Judith always spent the entire day before a shoot getting ready. She enjoyed a light steam in the sauna, followed by a relaxing massage and manicure. Only later in the evening would she visit a special salon to get her intimate areas touched up. She would arrive on set like a queen, fragrant, with silky smooth skin, flawless makeup, and a stunning hairstyle. This was why she was adored not just by the audience, but by the whole crew, and especially Monti.
You have to look stunning today.
Have I ever let you down? Just tell me, why'd you hand me over to these Russians? They're like clueless puppies. Did you see their faces? I can only imagine the shit they'll film today.
Honey, that's the last thing you need to worry about. I'll be right by your side the whole time and won't let them do anything out of line. Plus, you'll be able to make some good money. Tax-free, too. Those idiots brought cash.
Aren't you worried they might screw you over? Who knows what they're thinking? And please, make sure there's no weird kinky stuff. I know what they can be like.
I told you, it'll all be fine. I approved the script. There's no fucked up stuff in there.
But just in case, tell Attila to have our guys on standby. You never know.
Judith remembered her first shoot well. Some well-known German producer had arrived, and Monti bent over backwards trying to please him in every way, since the future of his films and whether they'd even sell at all depended on currying this guy's favor. The German turned out to be a vile creature, and the first thing he demanded was that the newcomer approved for the lead role be brought to him. Judith entered his room as if nothing was amiss and ran out in tears a minute later. She complained to Monti, but no matter how much he tried to persuade the producer, his young protege did not get the lead role. She had to play a street prostitute, and instead of warm, cozy scenes in luxurious apartments, she was filmed in an alley next to dumpsters, with 3 men having their way with her simultaneously. The German constantly rejected takes, forcing Judith to redo each scene multiple times. She was exhausted and freezing, in pain inside. There was no chance to freshen up, wash her face, and rest as he kept yelling "action," and made her do it again and again.
You're such a smarty pants. You saved my ass.
Well, you sure as hell didn't save mine. That's it, I'm done with this. I can't do it anymore. It's disgusting.
Rest up, baby girl, and take your time deciding.
In the morning, Judith entered the office to inform everyone of her final decision. The first person she saw was the producer. Grunting and barely able to move his legs, he paced the lobby, clutching his fat behind.
What happened to him?
He wanted a drink after the shoot yesterday, so we took him to a bar where he got fucked by like 10 dudes. So now he can't even sit down.
You did that?
What's it matter who did it? He got what he deserved, and we got what we wanted. The contract's signed. And most importantly, my girl got her revenge.
I'm staying.
I swear, after the next movie, you'll be a star.
Several months later, they walked arm in arm down the red carpet at Cannes, surrounded by hundreds of photographers and thousands of adoring onlookers. Monti had kept his promise. A new star named Jessie Blonde had appeared in the firmament. Andre woke up early and first laid out the storyboards drawn from the script on the table, checking that he hadn't forgotten anything. He noticed that Dima's bed was untouched, meaning he hadn't returned yet, which made him a little wary. But memories of his nighttime adventure with Lena relaxed Andre a bit and distracted him from gloomy thoughts. Most importantly, he caught himself not thinking about Jessie even once this whole time, although just last night he was going crazy with unbearable desire to be with her and nervousness before their inevitable meeting on set. His musings were interrupted by Dima entering the room.
So, did you enjoy the local sluts? At least you remembered about the shoot.
There were no sluts, man. We went to Teresa's club.
Why do you look so damn pleased with yourself?
I'll fill you in later. Gotta go wake up Ivan Ivanich and Sasha.
They arrived on set on time just as the techies were starting to unload, carry in lights and tripods, and lay out electrical cables along the paths.
Welcome to hell.
But inside, nothing looked like hell, and the scene was completely ordinary, with rushing about, clanging equipment, and shouting. Looking at all the usual movie set hustle and bustle, you'd never think that in a couple hours they'd be filming porn here. Andre sat on the couch, again burying himself in the storyboard spread out on the coffee table. He didn't even turn when someone sat down next to him. Only when he caught a pleasant whiff of perfume did he look up. Jessie was sitting beside him, wrapped in a white terry cloth robe. She smiled and gestured that she wanted to see the script with the storyboards.
Is this your first time shooting this kind of movie? I'm Judit. What's your name?
Oh, I thought...
You thought my name was Jessie? No, that's just my stage name. Anyway, nice to meet you.
Judith extended her delicate little hand to him. Andre shook it lightly, and the fire that had nearly gone out inside him flared up again.
Where did you learn Russian?
I learned it in school. My mom also spoke Russian well. She worked at a Soviet military base. Am I bothering you? Should I leave?
No, you're not disturbing me at all. Please don't go. It's a pleasure chatting with you. I never imagined I'd be talking so casually with...
I guess you meant to say whore, right? Don't be shy. We're not here to play chess, after all.
I still can't get used to this.
Better get used to it quickly, Andre. The shoot starts in an hour.
But Andre didn't want to get used to this. That terry robe barely covering Judith's nude body was more arousing than realizing that very soon that body would be completely at the mercy of his whims, yet wouldn't be given to him to ravish, but to those two muscular hunks. And that was the moment Andre feared most.
You know, I have several of your movies on DVD at home. I even went to your premiere in Paris.
Did you like it? I was such a silly girl in that one. I was still very young.
I really enjoyed it. That's when I remembered your name, Jessie Blonde.
Do I turn you on?
Andre lowered his gaze, not knowing how to respond. Did she arouse him? More than anything. He couldn't very well tell her how many hours he'd spent in front of the TV screen reveling in her naked body. Could he confess to Judith that he loved her, had loved her for a long time and hopelessly? And what it cost him to sit next to her now, chatting about silly things. Just one touch from her sent shivers through him. Her scent excited him, and her gaze drove him wild. He had only one desire: to drop everything and run, to return home to Lena and forget it all, forever.
You're so sweet. I'll help you make a great movie. Don't worry.
She tousled Andre's hair with her palm, stood up and left for her dressing room, her hips swaying elegantly. Monti observed this whole scene from the opposite end of the living room. His face was crimson. He slammed his cane on the stair railing and left the room. To completely distract herself from the disturbing thoughts, Lena decided to visit her mother, especially since she hadn't seen her in several months. Nothing had changed at home, not even the smell. The only thing that had changed was her mom, and not for the worse. She had a new hairstyle, clumsily applied eye makeup, and even a manicure. She was clearly embarrassed about it and tried her best to distract her daughter by steering the conversation in a different direction.
So where did Andre go?
He's shooting something in Hungary.
And why didn't you go with him?
For a second, Lena imagined what it would have been like if she had gone with him, and once again, thoughts of infidelity started swirling in her head.
Lena, what's on your mind?
I'm sorry, I guess I'm just worried about Andre.
Some kind of big deal photo shoot?
Oh, Mom, it's serious. So serious that I'm going out of my mind.
Want to spill the tea?
Probably not. I don't want to jinx it.
But I'm looking at you, and it seems to me that you've changed a lot. You've gotten prettier somehow. Your eyes are sparkling. Your cheeks are all rosy. Have you been hitting the gym?
Yeah, a little bit. Andre and I have been hitting the gym after work.
Well, good for you guys. So any plans on giving me a grandkid?
Mom, it's a bit early to be thinking about grandkids. You're still so young yourself.
Lena gave her mother a meaningful look, letting her know that she had noticed everything: the hairstyle, the makeup, and the manicure.
Yeah, I just wanted to feel like a woman again. Ever since your dad passed, I haven't been to the salon once.
Suddenly, Lena remembered her father's funeral in his secret basement in the garage, and the question she had wanted to ask for so many years just blurted out.
Mom, be honest with me. Did you love Dad?
Her mother raised her eyes and stared intently at her daughter. Her gaze was heavy, as if she didn't understand what Lena was talking about, and had heard the word love for the first time.
We were together for almost 20 years.
I already know that. Just answer me. Did you love him or not?
Lena, why are you giving me the third degree?
Because I know something about Dad that you don't. I know his secret, but I don't understand why he had to do it.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it looks like now I have to answer your question without getting an answer from you. But I'm not letting this go. So did you love him or not?
No.
Mom covered her face with her hands and started crying. Lena sat down next to her on the couch, hugged her, and also burst into tears. Wiping away her tears and sobbing, she told her mother about her father's hideout, about the photographs of hundreds of naked women that covered the walls of the garage basement, and about her guess as to what he had been doing there.
Please don't judge your father. It's all my fault. He had loved me since high school, and I betrayed him. And I only gave myself to him once in my life, on our wedding night. He never touched me again after that. It was my decision. I get that it was torture for him. I get that I acted like a total beach, but I couldn't help it. The thought of doing it disgusted me. And I don't blame him for those naked women. He's a man after all. On the contrary, I'm proud of him. He spent his whole life thinking that one time was a moment of happiness for us, and that it brought you into this world. But he didn't leave, he didn't abandon me because he loved me. He loved me for who I was. And I, like the worst scum, deceived him all his life, and I was already pregnant before the wedding.
Are you saying he's not my real father?
Yeah.
Natasha was the only person who knew the whole story of Lena's birth. For over 20 years, the two friends had kept this secret. During this time, sweet little Natasha turned into the businesswoman Natalia Andreevna, and the giggly Sveta into the gloomy Svetlana Vladimirovna, two unhappy women with broken lives. Natasha would never forget that evening when a pebble hit her window, and she, pulling back the curtain, saw her friend sitting on a bench below, hugging her knees to her chest and silently crying.
Sveta, what's up? Did you have a fight with your parents?
Sveta moved away, curled up even more, and shook her head vigorously.
Did Ivan hurt you?
No, he didn't hurt me.
Sveta was no longer crying. She was wailing, clutching her hair as if trying to drown out one pain with another. Only now did Natasha notice her torn dress and the brown stains on it. She moved closer and tried to hug her friend, but Sveta shrugged off her hands and moved to the edge of the bench.
Well, this isn't gonna work. You're the one who came to me. You called me out here, so spill it. We'll figure out what to do next.
Sveta buried her face in Natasha's shoulder and burst into tears. Ever since school, two boys had been in love with her, Ivan and Dennis. Ivan was the local bully who terrorized the younger kids at school and harassed all the girls without exception. He showed his secret love for pretty Sveta in a weird way. She got it worse than the others. Dennis was the complete opposite of Ivan and could be described in just 3 words: wimp, quiet kid, 4 eyes.
He got drunk as a skunk, groped me in front of everyone, tried to make out with me, and then he says, "Let's go for a walk."
And you idiot, you went with him? As if you don't know how these walks end up.
Well, how was I supposed to know? He said he was crazy in love with me, and then he shoved me aside, between some garages. I'm on my knees in the dirt, and he unzips his pants, grabs my hair, and starts shoving it in my mouth.
What a fucking asshole. And then what?
What then? As if you don't get what happened then.
I'm sorry. We need to go to the cops.
You want the whole town to know about my shame?
So what, you want to just let this scumbag get away with it?
They're shipping him off to the army tomorrow morning anyway.
Then we need to make sure he gets thrown in jail.
I can't do it.
Then I'll make it happen. Let's go.
Early in the morning, a drunk and clueless Ivan was dragged out of the house by the local cop and roughly shoved into the police car. After what happened, Sveta didn't leave the house for about a month, and Dennis constantly sat on the bench across from her windows. He would come early in the morning and leave late in the evening, only when the light in her window went out. Suddenly, the entrance door swung open, and Sveta came down the steps, walked over to Dennis and kissed him on the cheek. The old ladies grumbled disapprovingly.
Sveta, I want to tell you something.
Are you gonna ask me to marry you again? Why would you want me like this, ruined and disgraced?
I don't give a damn. I love you no matter what.
Well, if you love me as I am, then I accept.
8 months later, they had a daughter, whom they named Lena. At the time, no one paid attention to the early due date. Premature birth. Well, it happens. Lena lay on the bed, her face buried in the pillow. Her mother's story had left her speechless. She couldn't even cry, and she didn't feel sorry for herself. She felt sorry for her mother. Finally, Lena understood what was behind her mother's all-consuming hatred of anything carnal, why she had controlled her every move, why she had forbidden her to watch vulgar movies and read lewd books, why she had deprived her father of the opportunity to love her.
I will never forgive myself for ruining your dad's life and almost ruining yours. I couldn't overcome that pain inside me. I'm sorry.
So how am I supposed to live with all this now?
You think it's been easy for me all these years?
Mother and daughter hugged each other and wept loudly like women do. Andre had come up with all sorts of things in his script, and now, just minutes before the shoot, he was seriously doubting whether he could pull off even a fraction of what he had planned. But what puzzled him most was the change in Monti. Andre noticed that Monti had stopped smiling and flirting, stopped giving advice and commenting on the script. He just sat nearby, expressionless, watching the crew hustle around the set. Monti only perked up when Judith emerged from the dressing room and he started yelling at the crew, urging them on.
I don't like the way this fat creep is acting.
Sounds like he got jealous of you with his gorgeous gal.
What's up with that?
Teresa told me that this chick is his mistress, and you were kissing her in front of everyone.
I didn't kiss her. She kissed me on the cheek herself.
Doesn't change anything. Fatso nearly ripped her head off in the dressing room. Teresa heard him screaming at her and threatening you if he ever catches you two together again.
Interesting story. He's the one who pushed this hottie on us, and now we can't even go near her. Is he sick in the head or something?
Whether he's sick or not, that's not for us to decide. But I advise you to stay the hell away from both him and her. Teresa said Monti isn't as simple as he seems. Well, I think everything's ready. We can start.
Well, if we're gonna start, let's start. Sasha, you ready? Then let's roll.
Everything on set started moving as if by itself, giving the impression that everyone knew exactly what to do, where to go, what to do, where to sit, how to lie down. For the first few minutes, Andre even felt out of place. Monti stood next to him, puffing on his thick cigar, grunting contentedly and occasionally shouting at the actors. The heated guys, following their boss's orders, were ready to tear their partner apart. Judith was gasping, feeling nauseous, but the unspoken rules of the genre didn't allow her to stop. The shoot had to go on until the director called cut. Judith obediently followed all his commands, only occasionally casting pleading glances at Andre, who sat with his head down and eyes closed.
Get her down on her knees. Gabor, come on her face. Laszlo, put it in her ass.
Has he lost his mind? He's hurting her. Is it always like this on your shoots?
I'm completely blown away. I've never seen anything like this before.
All right, everyone, shut the hell up. Wrap it up. Move it.
Cut. Stop. I order you. Stop the shoot.
Monti glanced at him disdainfully, spat at his feet, and turning away from Andre, stubbed out his cigar on the monitor screen. Then he approached Judith and, pushing away the makeup artist who had rushed to her with tissues, leaned in slightly and said softly,
You got all that, sweetheart?
After which he spat again with contempt and limped towards the exit. He stopped for a second at the door, glanced around the set, and fixing his gaze on Andre, shouted,
Carry on, folks.
The rest of the shooting day passed in a blur. Everyone was working on autopilot. Scenes, co-stars, and camera angles kept changing without a hitch or conflict. Before Andre knew it, they were approaching the final scene in the script. He kept his eyes glued to the monitor, afraid to meet Judith's gaze, feeling guilty about what had happened hours earlier. Why had he hesitated for so long? Why didn't he step in and punch that fat pig in the face? Andre felt ashamed, hating himself for his cowardice and indecision.
Andre, you zonked out or what?
Yeah, right. Thanks, everyone. That's a wrap.
The whole crew burst into loud applause. Andre couldn't care less about what was going on around him. His mind was fixated on one thing, or rather, one person, Judith. He was so lost in thought that he didn't even turn when someone touched his arm.
We need to talk. Meet me at the entrance in half an hour. I'm in the red Peugeot.
Andre couldn't muster a response. He just gave a barely noticeable nod and glanced at his watch. When he looked up again, Judith was already gone. The dressing room was its usual post-shoot chaos, but when Judith walked in, everyone fell silent. She quickly jumped in the shower and started gathering her things, constantly checking the time.
What's the rush? Monti ordered me to bring you to him.
I don't need an escort. I can get there just fine on my own.
And what if you don't make it there?
It's none of your business. Step aside, please. You're in my way.
Sure, I'll step aside. But you're still coming with me.
Judith turned away and continued packing in a hurry, wondering how she could ditch this hulk of a guy and leave with Andre. Suddenly, Teresa plopped down next to her and casually started primping in the mirror, fixing her hair as if nothing was amiss.
They've got you under surveillance? Do you need help or something?
I'm so sick of all this.
Judith eyed Teresa suspiciously. She didn't know her well, only that she was a local who moonlighted as a translator for the Russians. But this was her only chance. Judith discreetly pulled her car key from her purse and placed it on the table, close to Teresa's hand. Teresa glanced in the mirror again, making sure Attila wasn't looking their way, then covered the key with her palm. After fussing with her hair a bit more, she stood up and addressed everyone in a deliberately loud voice.
Anyone who's not beat, I'm inviting you to my club. There's a killer party tonight. I'll hook you up with free entry. Here's my number. Give me a call when you get there. I'll come meet you.
Judith caught on quickly. A minute after Teresa left the dressing room, she turned to Attila and shouted,
So, are you gonna help me with these bags, or do I have to lug them myself?
Attila jumped up, grabbed her bags, and headed for the exit. Judith, taking her sweet time, started saying goodbye to everyone in the dressing room, clearly stalling to give Teresa and Andre a chance to get as far away as possible.
Get in the car, now.
Where's Judith?
I said get in. I'll explain everything later.
Judith said to wait for her by the car.
Ignoring him completely, Teresa turned the key in the ignition. The car shot forward, and only when they'd driven past the gates of the cottage complex did she turn to Andre and say,
If you want her to stay safe, listen to me and do exactly what I say.
Where are we going, and why so fast?
Quick, before they catch up. We're heading to my place.
What for?
You want to see Judith?
Yeah.
That's where you'll meet her.
I do.
Attila's black SUV barely squeezed through the narrow archway, its powerful engine growling as it slowly maneuvered into the tight courtyard. In the entire office building, only the window of Monti's office was lit.
I can't figure out how you got under the boss's skin like that. I was ready to kill him today when he started messing with you.
So, why didn't you kill him then?
So what if you did kill him? Then what?
You could have popped the question.
And you'd go along with that?
Why not? Unless you're hung up on the fact that I've slept with a few hundred guys before you.
Slept with him, my ass. It's just a movie. Everything's fake here.
You think I'm incapable of loving and enjoying sex?
I'd be over the moon if you fell for me.
All right, enough joking around. You're not my type. Chill out.
Judith hopped down from the high step of the SUV and entered the office. In the dark hallway, she paused to quickly send an empty text to Teresa's number. Within seconds, she got a reply. 17 Andrushy Street, apartment 8. Judith deleted the message, slipped her phone into her purse, and walked into Monti's office without knocking. As usual, he was sprawled in his massive leather chair, his thick fingers pecking at the laptop keyboard.
What took you so long?
What's your beef with me? Ask Attila why he was driving so slow. And please explain why you needed me in the middle of the night. I'm beat and I want to crash.
Monti got up from his desk, moved in close to Judith, and began gently running his fingers through her hair. His voice had once again become fawningly sweet.
Baby, you know how much I love you. You know I'd take down anyone who so much as looks at you funny or tries to hurt you.
Then destroy yourself first.
Forgive this old fool. I don't know what came over me. I've never been the jealous type, but it's like I was possessed or something.
Monti kept mumbling to himself, endlessly repeating that he'd acted despicably, that he was the lowest of the low, that he was beyond forgiveness. Judith seemed to be listening, but his words passed through her like sand through dry fingers, leaving not a single grain behind. With each new word, she became more and more convinced that their relationship was over, despite the fact that Monti had once saved her life. His actions today had erased all the years of their strange love.
Are you even listening to what I'm saying?
Even if I hear it, what difference does it make? Don't waste your time or degrade yourself. I'm leaving you anyway.
And where exactly are you going? Running off to that Russian guy? What's he gonna give you? Money? Fame? What?
Maybe a little happiness.
Wasn't all that happiness enough for you? You've been with the cream of the crop and I paid you big bucks for it. You've traveled the world on my dime, living carefree while I made all the decisions. What more happiness do you want? To sit in some dump of an apartment, darning your sweetheart's socks and spreading your legs for him once a month without even wanting to?
Did you ever once ask if I wanted your happiness?
Monty stared intently into Judith's eyes, trying to figure out if she was telling the truth or just throwing words around too.
Baby, let's keep things as they were. Attila will drive you home now. You'll rest up, get some sleep. Tomorrow's a new day. We'll talk it all out. Forget the bad stuff. I love you.
Nah, I want to hit the club.
Fine. If it's the club you want, it's the club you'll get.
Heading to the club. Got security with me. What's next?
Attila, don't let that bitch out of your sight at the club. If I find out she talked to the Russian, you're fired.
Got it, boss. Don't worry. He won't get anywhere near her.
Judith settled into the back seat and gave the club's address. They hadn't even left the cramped courtyard when her phone screen lit up. There'll be a manager named Victoria at the bar. Ask her to show you to the restroom. Then follow her instructions. She read and immediately deleted the message.
Who's texting you?
Nobody. Just checking my phone balance. Get me a whiskey on the rocks. I'll be back in a sec. Could you show me to the ladies' room, please?
The girls turned a corner. Victoria pointed to a slightly open back door at the end of the corridor and whispered that a taxi would be waiting there. Judith darted outside. Sure enough, there was a car with its engine running by the entrance. She let out a sigh of relief, trying to close the door quietly, and the car took off immediately. The ice in the whiskey glass Attila had ordered for Judith was already starting to melt. He glanced at his watch. It had been almost 15 minutes since she'd left. Something tightened inside him, a bad feeling creeping in. Attila jumped up, knocking over the glass and spilling whiskey everywhere. Without even knocking, he yanked open the door to the ladies' room and, ignoring the shrieking girls, began kicking open the stalls one by one.
You idiot! You brainless idiot! He's gonna kill you!
Teresa took off, leaving behind her apartment keys and the keys to Judith's car in the entryway. Andre found himself alone, and suddenly, a wave of fear washed over him. It wasn't because he was in a strange city or someone else's place. It wasn't even about the fact that just an hour ago they were zigzagging through the streets of Budapest in the dead of night, trying to shake off any potential tale. No, what really had him on edge was what was about to go down in just a matter of minutes. He was caught in a whirlwind of emotions. Part of him was dying for it to happen, while another part was scared out of his mind. He could have easily made a break for it, his eyes darting to the keys sitting on the shelf every now and then, but he didn't. Maybe he couldn't stomach the thought of coming across as a coward to the person he loved, not twice in one day. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. His heart started racing like crazy. He tiptoed to the door, trying not to breathe too loud, and peeked through the peephole. His hands were shaking so bad he could barely control them. The lock clicked twice and the door swung open.
Hey, can I come in?
Sure thing. Come on in. Teresa took off.
I know, I'm so beat. Really craving some coffee.
I'll check it out. Make yourself at home in the living room. I'll be right there.
One simple phrase and everything changed in a heartbeat. Turns out it was all so simple, she just wanted some coffee. Judith was curled up on the couch, eyes closed, looking like she was fast asleep. Andre tried to back away, but he was all thumbs, and the tray clattered loudly against the glass door.
Sorry, I dozed off. Oh wow, that smells amazing. I've never had anything like it.
With each passing second, with every word she spoke, Andre felt the weight lifting off his chest. He kept stealing glances at Judith, thinking to himself that he'd never met anyone so darn adorable in his life. Right now, she looked like a regular girl, confused, hurt, and so vulnerable. It was hard to wrap his head around the fact that this was how she made her living.
I wanted to say I'm sorry.
For what?
For today. For everything that went down.
What's the big deal about what happened today? Every job has its downsides. Haven't you ever had to deal with a bonehead boss? Some egomaniac on a power trip? Yeah, my job's different, but it's still just a job. No need to let it spill over into real life.
Judith kept talking for what seemed like forever. Maybe trying to explain herself, maybe trying to explain things away. But no matter how hard she tried to play it cool, like nothing out of the ordinary had gone down today, it was clear she was pretty shaken up. She cut herself off mid-sentence and quickly dabbed at a tear in the corner of her eye.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. Why are we still going on about me? What do you think of Budapest?
It's a beautiful city, but I've only seen it from the bus window.
I'll show you all the cool spots.
Judith set her cup down on the table, scooted closer to Andre, and looked him dead in the eye.
Why'd you have to go and fall for me?
I don't know.
I like you too.
What happened next felt like a dream. Andre had only one fear. How could he possibly measure up to her previous partners? He was self-conscious about being average down there, and even more self-conscious about being so self-conscious. What did he know about the art of lovemaking compared to her? Next to nothing. Judith, as if reading his mind, she was talking and fumbling with the buttons on his shirt at the same time.
Don't worry, this isn't some movie, and I'm not a hooker. I want love too. Just regular, old-fashioned love and regular sex.
Judith was fast asleep, curled up like a little kid. The streetlight was peeking through the curtains, casting a glow on her face. Andre sat on the bed, just taking in the view, afraid to move a muscle in case he disturbed her. Suddenly, he felt his phone vibrating in his bag. He got up quietly and tiptoed out of the bedroom, gently closing the door behind him. He grabbed his bag and dug around for what felt like forever, trying to find his phone. Finally, he fished it out and opened the text message.
Lena, how are you doing? Love you.
Teresa pulled up to the club's back entrance, hoping to slip in unnoticed. But no such luck. Attila was sitting on the steps, nervously puffing on a cigarette.
Why are you here? Why aren't you out having fun?
I'm having plenty of fun right here.
Something off at the club? Got into it with someone?
He'll kill her tomorrow, but he'll off me first.
Who's gonna kill who?
He ordered me to keep an eye on her, and I lost her. How am I supposed to save this dimwit now? Where the hell do I look? That Russian guy's nowhere to be seen either. If Monti finds out they're together, I'm dead meat. And so is she.
You talking about Judith?
Who else would I be talking about?
Is Monti here?
Nah, but I was supposed to keep him in the loop and drive Judith home after the party.
Well, why don't you give him a ring and tell him everything's cool? Say it's all under control, that you'll drive Judith home by 5 a.m. What, you've never told a white lie before?
You're right. He won't show up here.
She'll turn up before morning, no doubt.
You think so?
I'm sure of it. Come on, let's hit the dance floor. It'll all work out. Nobody's gonna off anybody.
You go ahead. I'll be there soon. Just gotta make a call to the boss.
Now, Teresa's main mission was to keep an eye on Attila and make sure Judith showed up at the club by 5 a.m. Not wanting to risk a text, she dialed Judith's number. Judith picked up right away.
I'm already at your place. Andre's fixing me some coffee.
All right, good. But you gotta be at the club by 5, no excuses. Your bodyguard's freaking out. Says Monti will have both your heads if he finds out you took off.
So, what do we do now?
Just get here, and I'll sort everything out. But don't bring Andre along. Let him crash at my place or drop him off at a hotel.
All right, see you soon.
Teresa walked into the main room and spotted Dima almost instantly. He was perched at the bar, his back to the dance floor, lost in thought as he scrolled through his phone. The screen flashed with photos from the set, and Teresa was in every single one. Dima lingered on each new picture, zooming in on her face.
Aha! Busted!
Dima, caught off guard, fumbled and dropped his phone. Teresa scooped it up, her eyes automatically drawn to the glowing screen where she saw her own face staring back at her.
What's the big idea taking my picture without asking? We're in Europe, you know. I could sue you for invasion of privacy.
Teresa unzipped her bag, ready to toss his phone in. Dima went pale. An awkward silence hung in the air.
Ha! Got you!
Man, you've got one twisted sense of humor.
They spent the rest of the night on the dance floor, losing themselves in the pulsing beats of electronic music. As the crowd started to thin out in the early hours, Attila approached them and struck up a conversation with Teresa, glancing over at Dima every now and then.
He's asking where Andre is.
No clue. Probably at the hotel. At least I didn't see him at the club.
Attila listened, eyeing Dima suspiciously, clearly not buying his story.
I'm done waiting. You said everything would be fine, but I think you got it wrong. I'm heading to the hotel. And if they're there...
Attila clenched his fists meaningfully and headed for the exit. Teresa whipped out her phone and dialed Judith's number.
Where are you guys? We've pulled up at the hotel. Tell Andre to hit the sack right away and act like he's been sleeping all night. Attila will be there any minute. And you, get your butt to the club. Got it, thanks.
Andre had barely stripped down when there was an insistent knock at the door. He waited a beat, messed up his hair, and then flipped the lock. Attila barged into the room, shoving Andre aside, and made a beeline for the bed, yanking off the covers. He looked around, bewildered, then dashed to the bathroom. He came running out a second later, face like thunder. He scanned the room one more time and, realizing the futility of his search, opened the closet doors, probably just to make himself feel better. On his way out, he shoved Andre again, muttering something clearly insulting under his breath in Hungarian. The first thing Attila saw in the club parking lot was Judith's little red car. He kicked the front door in frustration, realizing he'd been played.
Don't freak out, see? I'm right here.
Attila felt Judith's lips brush against his scruffy cheek.
And I've been here the whole time, with you nearby. Get it? Now you can go ahead and report back.
The sudden silence was deafening. The empty club, stripped of its usual vibe, looked like an abandoned battlefield. What had seemed fantastic just an hour ago now looked downright pathetic under a couple of dim bulbs. In the farthest corner, Dima and Teresa sat cuddled up on a leather couch, still yelling as if trying to be heard over the now silent music. Their words echoed off the bare walls, floating up and fading away in the emptiness.
We're leaving tonight. Time flew by so fast.
Why don't you stay? I can help you get your papers sorted out.
How can I stay? My whole life is back there. My job, my family, my friends.
But you won't be there. Can you really live without me? I don't think I could make it without you. What if I fall for someone else while I'm gone?
I can't stay either. I think I've fallen in love for real for the first time in my life. I promise I'll come back in a month. Then we can figure out what to do next.
What if I fall for someone else while I'm gone?
That's what I'm most afraid of. We've only known each other for 3 days, but I feel like I've known you for years and years. And I've been madly in love with you all this time.
Jeez, why are you yelling so loud?
Dima and Teresa jumped, startled, trying to figure out where the voice was coming from. They whipped their heads around until they spotted a waving hand in the opposite corner. As they got closer, they saw Judith sitting on the couch with Attila curled up next to her, his head in her lap, fast asleep.
Looks like the kid's out cold and you're shouting loud enough to wake the whole club. Let him sleep a bit longer. He's got a tough day ahead.
He's not gonna rat you out to Monty, is he?
No, he won't snitch.
Suddenly, a phone rang. Attila stirred, sat up straight, and started patting his pockets in a daze until he found the blaring phone. He brought it to his ear, shaking his head to wake up and get his bearings.
Now, where are you guys?
We're leaving the club. I'll drop Judith off at home, then head straight to the office. Should I take her to your place first?
No need. Let her rest. I'll come see her myself this evening. Tell her to wait and not go anywhere. Got it?
Sure thing, boss.
Put her on the phone.
Could you talk to him, please?
Wanted to make sure I was still around, huh?
Yeah, something like that. Did you get some good rest?
That was the best night of my life.
Attila had been sitting in the car for several minutes, going over the story he and Judith had cooked up on the way home. It all seemed to add up, and most importantly, people had seen them arrive at the club together and leave together in the early morning. The conclusion was clear. Judith had been with Attila at the club the whole time. If Monti asked, anyone in the crew would swear to it. Who cared what happened in between? Finally, he opened the door decisively and strode confidently towards the office entrance.
What are you doing here?
Where else am I supposed to go? The workday's already started, right?
Your work shift was last night. Go get some sleep. We've got a meeting with the Russians at 3, and you'd better be there, just in case.
Got it. I'll be there by 3.
Plus, they still owe me money for the shoot.
Have I ever let you down before?
Attila didn't go home. For one, he wasn't the least bit sleepy, and two, he was worried sick about Judith. You never knew what to expect from Monti. He parked his car a block from her place and walked the rest, glancing over his shoulder every now and then. Judith opened up almost immediately, not surprised to see him on her doorstep.
You're not even gonna ask who showed up?
I knew you'd come back. Come on in.
It's no big deal. I don't think Monty totally bought our story. I'd rather crash at your place.
You think he's got more in him. He already outdid himself last night. Want some coffee?
Would you have said no if you were in my shoes?
Oh, not you too. Don't tell me you've fallen for her?
Whoa! Who said anything about falling in love? Maybe I just think you're cool. Maybe I see you as a friend.
Attila, don't lie to yourself. I can see it, but you need to understand, I'm in love with someone else.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I hope you're not planning on sharing this with Monty.
The kitchen filled with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. Judith set out the cups, went back to the stove, checked the coffee pot, stepped aside, got the sugar from the cupboard, put it on the table, and returned to the stove. She either didn't notice or pretended not to notice how Attila's love-struck gaze followed her every move. And for the first time, he wasn't trying to hide it.
Attila, just admit it. You love me, don't you?
What makes you say that?
Every girl likes to know she's loved.
What difference would it make if I said I love you? You've always been indifferent towards me anyway. First it was Monty, now it's this Russian guy.
Do you really think I loved that fat creep?
Well, you two were always joined at the hip. He never let you out of his sight.
Yeah, he saved me once, gave me a job, made me a famous actress. But did he ever give me love? Did he ever let me love? I just let him love me. Though it's hard to call it love. He's impotent, you know? Yeah, I shared a bed with him. He'd grope me, lick me, kiss me. Tried his best to make me feel good. But I never felt good. I was just grateful he helped me escape poverty. I'm sorry. I know this might be hard for you to hear, but I need to tell you. Last night was the first time I ever climaxed. Yeah, I've been screwed every which way for years. So many people got off looking at me. No one even guessed that I had no clue what an orgasm felt like, or what real love is. Thank you for helping me. And if you can, forgive me. You're a good guy, but I love Andre.
The tour bus, packed with tourists, crawled through evening Budapest. Andre sat by the window, his forehead pressed against the foggy glass, watching the streets roll by. Dima was knocked out in the next seat, his head on Andre's shoulder. Behind them, Ivan Ivanovich was snoring like a freight train while Sasha was peacefully dozing. All around, excited tourists chattered about their sightseeing adventures and bragged about their purchases. None of them had a clue about the wild ride this weird sleeping bunch was coming back from. No matter how hard Lena tried, nothing worked out between them since Andre's return from Hungary. On the day he came back, he wandered around until late, returned angry, said he had an argument with a client, and went straight to sleep in his room. The next day, he complained of a headache, then claimed he got into a scuffle with some troublemakers near the building. And tonight, he just wasn't in the mood.
Why haven't you started editing the film yet? I'm so curious to see what you've created.
Lena, don't you think you're interfering with my work?
How am I bothering you? I just want to help. To inspire you, maybe.
You think parading around provocatively in front of me is going to boost my energy and inspiration?
Why are you being so harsh? Everything was so good between us. I waited for you, dreamed about you, imagined how we would love each other. Have you forgotten everything? Why are you torturing me like this? Making up excuses? Avoiding me? Did you fall for someone else? Did you cheat on me? I can see you've come back a different person.
Lena, I'm the same person I was before. I just need to focus. I don't know where to start. I'm lost in this pile of tapes.
So your focus on work killed your desire for everything else? You haven't touched me for 4 days. I want to know who she is. Show me. How is she better than me? I've been going crazy here, thinking about you every minute.
Andre stared intently at his crying wife, barely hearing her words. She was truly wonderful, and not just in appearance. Their connection had been magical, especially lately. Lena had transformed from a shy, modest girl into someone completely different, as if invisible chains that had been holding back her true nature had suddenly fallen away. Looking at Lena again, Andre realized he still loved her. He loved her playful face, her tousled hair, those tear-filled eyes without makeup, everything about her. He just needed to stop thinking about Judith, at least for now.
I'm sorry.
Do I have a reason to?
Even if there was something, it wouldn't be worth losing my love for you.
That's quite a statement, but still nice to hear.
Lena made a slight movement, and her silk robe slipped from her shoulders.
Let's make our own film. Look at me. You don't think I can do what those Hungarian girls did? And mind you, I won't be acting. I'll be loving for real. You do remember what real love is like, don't you?
Andre remembered everything. The familiar comfort of her presence overwhelmed all other memories. He stood up and took Lena's hand.
Come here. I want to start right now.
What about the cameras? The operator? The script?
We'll have everything. Cameras, operator, script.
He guided Lena to the bed and surveyed the room with purpose.
I'll set up phones here and here for wide and medium shots, and here we'll put the camera for close-ups. Give me a minute. I'll have everything ready.
The main thing is that you're ready.
Within a minute, their impromptu studio was ready.
Well, shall we begin?
You think we can make it work just like that, on command?
What did you think making movies was like?
At first, like any inexperienced performer, Lena kept glancing self-consciously at the cameras as if that would change something. Their presence made it difficult for her to relax and be natural. She tried to position herself carefully, but as time went on, Lena thought about it less and less, eventually closing her eyes and letting go completely, deciding to accept whatever happened. The bell had been ringing for several minutes. Judith threw on her robe and, muttering something to herself, walked leisurely to the door. She did not even look through the peephole, for she was sure who she would see there. Monti was indeed standing on the threshold. She was only confused by the undisguised gloating that was evident in his grinning face.
Well, hello, baby. What took you so long to open up?
I was waiting for you to stop smiling. What, have you got something to please me?
You can't even imagine the surprise I have in store for you.
I know you're a master at making gifts.
Did I say I had a present? No, I have a surprise. I don't know about you, but I really liked it.
Monti pulled a flash drive out of his pocket and twirled it in front of Judith's face before plugging it into his laptop. Judith had been expecting him to do something nasty, but this flash drive, and the way Monti was acting, made her very wary. There was clearly something there that was going to sink her into the mud for good.
Well, shall we have a look?
We'll see if you insist.
What are you standing there for? Sit next to me. The movie's long.
Judith moved another chair closer and sat down on the edge. All sorts of theories popped into her head, from hidden cameras to Teresa's betrayal. Had she set this whole thing up on purpose? Did she work for Monti, and everything that had happened had been done with malicious intent or for a lot of money? If so, then Teresa is a great actress. This stream of questions was interrupted by the image of a naked couple having sex on the screen. Judith noticed that it was titillatingly beautiful.
What's that?
Well, you look closely. Don't you recognize anyone?
No, I don't know this girl. Where's she from? She's very good at everything.
And you don't look at the girl, you look at him.
Monti rewound the video a bit until the partner's face was clearly visible. Judith couldn't believe her eyes. It was Andre. Her lips quivered. She looked away and turned away. A strange feeling seized her. Could it be jealousy, she thought, and glanced once more at the screen. It was hard to believe that everything that was going on there was staged. It was very believable and sincere. The girl clearly loved him, and he didn't look like someone who was just doing a number. So that's what you are, jealousy.
I can make you a copy so you can look at your lover before you go to bed. I've had her for a while. She's a star in my favorite chat room. She was hiding her face though, silly girl. But you can't fool old Monty. It's the same interior. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to guess who the whore is. I had no idea your boyfriend could do that. Did you teach him that, or did she?
Fuck you. What do you know about it? All you can do is tell me how to suck, where to suck, when to come. Have you ever been in love? Do you even know what love is?
This coming from a whore who's fucked half the world? There's no place to brand you. She's talking about love. If it wasn't for me, you'd be in a cesspool with your ass ripped open.
Shut up, you ghoul. I hate you.
Judith slapped Monty with all her might. It was as if he didn't feel the blow. He grabbed Judith firmly by the shoulders, pulled her against him, and whispered right into her face.
Remember, bitch, from now on, you're a nobody. Live as you like. Love whoever you like. You don't exist to me anymore.
Monty stared into her frightened eyes full of tears for a few more seconds, then pushed her away from him with force. Judith collapsed onto the sofa and tucked her legs into a corner, expecting the worst, but he didn't touch her.
Do you know who's going to work in your place now?
Well, who will?
You'll never guess. She's going to be my star now.
Monty turns the laptop toward Judith and jabs his finger at the screen.
You're out of your mind. How could you even think of such a thing? What are you going to tell her or suggest to her that she drop everything and come to you?
I won't tell her anything. She'll just work for me. I've made up my mind. And you don't have to worry about her fate. You'll feel better because your stupid fucker's gonna be alone soon. You'll go to him. You'll fuck together in a klopavnik, eating borscht, choking on stinky dumplings and drinking vodka. Get used to it. This is your future, baby.
With that, he pulled the flash drive from the computer, and without saying goodbye, he left the apartment. Judith ran out onto the landing and screamed,
"Don't touch the girl."
Andre was sitting in his room and editing a movie, almost without distracting himself with all sorts of household trifles, which annoyed Lena a lot. She was constantly hanging around, now and then throwing sarcastic comments about her rival. But no matter how hard she tried to downplay Judith's virtues, she still realized deep down that she was beautiful, and her ability to indulge in love could not be compared to that set of hardened sexual stamps, which until recently used Lena. And only their little lewd movie, which had been made by Andre, calmed her down.
Andre, can you record our movie on my phone? I want you to be always near me.
And you're not ashamed. What if someone sees it?
Well, let them see. Let them be jealous. Why am I worse than others?
All the way to work, she fiddled with her cell phone in her pocket, trying to get it out every now and then. Like dozens of other passengers around her, Lena had headphones in her ears, but it wasn't music. The sounds of their recent sex caressed her ears and excited her so much that she wanted to do something obscene right there in front of the stunned audience. Surprisingly, it turned out there was nothing more arousing than seeing and hearing your own sex. The first thing she did when she ran into the office was to lock herself in the bathroom, remove her completely soaked panties, and toss them in the hamper. The rest of the day promised to be just as interesting, because Lena was to spend it surrounded by employees who do not even realize that she has already received her dose of pleasure, and it is quite possible that by the end of working hours we'll get more.
You're a bitch, Lenka. Can't you smell the stench of debauchery from a mile away? Sitting here like a needle, waiting for something. Tell the truth, have you got a lover? Or are you a prostitute?
Why do you draw such conclusions?
You don't even need to draw any conclusions, you're not wearing any underwear.
What do you care if I'm in my underwear or not? Why do you keep hitting on me? Haven't anyone fucked you for a long time? You better watch your underpants.
Maybe I've been fucked so much that you've never dreamed of it.
It's obvious. Better go squeeze a pimple on your forehead.
You bitch.
Lena's hands were shaking for a few minutes from anger and indignation, but gradually she calmed down and even pretended to work. But she didn't run around the office anymore, no matter what kind of a fool would think of looking under her dress. But the desire to do something weird didn't go away. Lena selected the desired file and clicked the Add Video button. What's the big deal? What will change in her life from the fact that someone will see how she fucks? And anyway, who gives a shit about her? And how likely is it that anyone she knows will see the video? But even if they do, are they gonna come and spit in her face? No, at best he'll drool and be jealous of her coolness and sexiness.
Hey, master of the slutty, I'm home. I have a surprise for you.
Hi, what's the surprise?
Here.
Andre looked back at his wife's playful exclamation, and at the same moment Lena twisted sharply on one leg, so that the edges of her dress flew up to her waist.
Well, you're crazy.
Can you imagine? I've been walking like this all day. Such a high.
Well, let's take a shower then.
I don't want to shower. I want it like this.
Lena quickly pushed aside the tape spread out on the table, rested her elbows on it, and turned her head slightly and glanced at her husband, who was dumbfounded. With every movement of their bodies, the silk fabric gently tickled her buttocks, and her excited nipples touched the cold surface of the table. And all the while, Judith's eyes, frozen in a freeze frame, stared at Lena from the computer screen. Andre must have watched the edited movie 100 times looking for little things that could be corrected. But finally, the moment came when he didn't want to correct anything anymore. But what pleased him most of all was that he stopped getting excited, looking at Judith's nakedness, stopped suffering from his sudden crush, and was able to concentrate on his work. And Lena helped him in this. Every day and every night, Andre was convinced that he had made a big mistake by cheating on her. He was grateful to Lena that she was able to forgive him and prove that she could be much sexier than those for whom sex had become a job. Andre decided to have the final viewing of the movie together with Lena in the evening. It was very important to him, her opinion, and not only her opinion.
Admit it honestly. Did you like it? Well, at least a little bit aroused?
Why a little? There is something that we haven't tried yet. And that's what excites me.
And who did you like the most?
Are you provoking me on purpose?
Well, we agreed.
Okay. We had a deal. I won't be sarcastic anymore. And I won't argue, and I won't be sly. She's really good. I've even been jealous in some places that I'm not as perfect as she is. You've guessed who I'm talking about, haven't you?
Andre nodded, and not to give any more reason to continue this conversation, put his arms around Lena and kissed her passionately on the lips.
I apologize to you for the 1,000th time, and for the 1,000th time I scream that I am a fool, a bastard, and a scoundrel who dared to betray our love.
Oh, how much pathos. But it still feels good. I think you deserve a little award. Let this be your first prize for your first movie.
Lena pushed Andrew lightly in the chest, and he obediently fell on his back and her hands slid down. The phone call woke Dima up. Without opening his eyes, he fumbled with his palm on the bed for a long time, trying to find the screaming phone. Finally, he found it and, squinting his sleepy eyes, tried to see who was calling so early. The number was unidentifiable.
Hello, I'm listening.
Dima, is that you?
Hi, sweetheart. I'm so glad to hear from you.
Wait to rejoice. There's not much to rejoice about.
What's wrong? And why is your number not recognized?
Dima, listen to me carefully and don't interrupt me. Things are very bad and you must act quickly. Judith came to me in the night. She was furious. She said Monti threw her out, but that's not the main thing. He wants Andre's wife to work for him.
Wait, I don't understand what it means to work for him.
That's what it means. Monti wants to make Lena his favorite and force her to star in his movies.
It's crazy, I don't get it. How does he want to do that? It's just impossible.
You don't know him. That thing can do anything. He made me contact your chief.
With Ivan Ivanovich?
Yes, with him. I told you not to interrupt me anyway. I was translating their conversation. Monti has agreed with him that he will return him all the money spent on filming, give him all the rights to your movie, and give him all the profits from the sale, but only on one condition. This Ivan Ivanovich must find and deliver Lena to him.
How did he know about her? In fact, how did he come up with this nonsense?
The situation is idiotic. He has some video of Lena fucking. He's been running around with that video for a few days now, and he's been telling everyone that he's going to have a new star soon.
Where did you get such details? Did he tell you everything himself?
Was Attila. You remember, the bulky guy like that. The one who's been following Judith all the time. He's in love with her. So it was Attila who told Judith, and she told me. Call Andre urgently before there's trouble.
I've got it. I'm calling. What about us?
Everything later. Make the call now.
Dima's fingers, trembling from excitement, with difficulty dialed Andre's number, but he did not pick up the phone. Only at the third attempt, he heard the sleepy voice of his friend.
What happened? Such a dream ruined.
Stop sleeping. Listen to me carefully. Where's Lena?
Are you out of your mind? What the fuck do you need Lena for? She's still asleep.
Wake her up quickly or there'll be trouble.
Andre finally woke up, threw aside the blanket. Lena was not in bed. He ran out into the hallway, looked into the bathtub, then into the kitchen.
She's not here. Probably gone to work by now.
Call her right away.
Why don't you explain what happened first?
As best he could, Dima quickly retold the story from Teresa.
I don't believe it. It can't be. This isn't a gangster movie.
Stop mumbling. Call me. I'll be right there.
Andre, dialing Lena's number, rushed through the rooms until he noticed a magnetized note on the refrigerator. Well, I wanted to wake you up. I went to my mom. I'll try to get out of work early. Thanks for the night. Kisses. He had already pressed the call button several times, but the receiver kept ringing, with a voice saying that the caller was unavailable. Andre could not find a place. Gathering his courage, he dialed his mother-in-law's number.
Good morning, Svetlana Vladimirovna. Has Lena not left yet?
Hello, Andre. What makes you think I have her?
It's just that she ran away earlier and left me a note saying she'd come to see you. Nothing serious. I just wanted to know where she put my new shirt. I'll call her myself. Goodbye.
Andre dialed Lena's number several more times, to no avail. He spent a long time digging through his notebook looking for the data of his boss, but as usual, it was impossible to make sense of the encrypted inscriptions. Some strange names and unknown numbers. Having found nothing, Andre ran out of the apartment and ran into Dima right on the threshold.
Well?
What are we going to do now? We can't go to the police, can we?
I think we should call Ivanich.
And he'll tell us to come and get your Lena. I've changed my mind.
Lena woke up in a great mood. Carefully, so as not to wake Andre, she slipped out from under the blanket and tiptoed to the bathroom. She had decided to visit her mother before work yesterday, so she quickly rinsed herself without any of the usual delays, put on makeup, drank coffee, and, having taped a note for Andre to the refrigerator, ran outside. The weather was marvelous. To have time for everything, Lena decided to stop the cab and, coming to the edge of the road, waved at the car leaving her yard. The heavy Jeep slowed down next to her, and the driver's friendly face appeared in the window opening.
Get in, girl. I have plenty of time. The chief is sick. I'll take you wherever you say.
Oh, how good, thank you. And I want to visit my mom and not be late for work.
You won't be late.
The driver pressed a button on the dashboard, and the tinted window extinguished the sunlight that filled the cabin. The car moved smoothly. At the same time, the automatic door lock clanked.
Buckle up, please.
You're a daredevil.
It's my job.
At the same instant, someone gripped her tightly from behind and held an ether-soaked napkin to her face. Everything swam in front of her eyes. Lena instinctively tried to twitch, but her unruly body collapsed and her consciousness shattered into millions of tinkling shards. And then some voices began to come. They sounded as if through absorbent cotton. Her head was buzzing like after a terrible drunkenness. Lena tried to open her eyes, but her clammy eyelids were unbearably heavy. A phone call came from far away.
Hello? Dima who? Oh, I get it. What the hell are you talking about? I don't give a shit about you and your Andre. And for such insults you can get in the face. If you call me again with such accusations, you'll forget who you are and what your name is. Do you understand me? Is the movie finished? I want to have everything at 6 o'clock today. Do you understand?
A few hard blows on her cheeks finally chased away the remnants of sleep, and Lena opened her eyes. The heavy figure of a bald man loomed over her.
Where am I? Why?
Don't whine, baby. That's the way it is.
The surroundings went dark again. Lena tried to lift herself up, but couldn't. Her body wouldn't listen, and it turned out that her hands were tied behind her back.
Get out of here and get the paperwork ready to send her away. An ambulance, certificates, documents, visas, tickets to make everything beautiful. Quickly!
It was quiet again. Lena heard the door lock click. Then someone's hands grabbed her around the waist and turned her face down. She tried to scream, but a huge palm clamped her mouth shut, so that the fabric of the bag pressed painfully into her parched lips.
If you squeak again, I'll have your Andre's balls cut off and a log shoved up your mom's ass. Is that what you want?
Lena shook her head frantically.
Good. Then I'll let you go and you won't flinch anymore. Have I made myself clear?
Lena nodded, and he slowly took his hand away from her mouth.
Well, now do a little work. I've seen you're good at work. You'll give any whore a head start. Except that I've already fucked all the whores and I've got your kind. I've never had anyone like you before.
He threw her skirt back and, instead of just pulling down her panties, gently pulled them down as if enjoying every second of the contemplation. His thick, rough fingers slid over her soft skin, and the almost inaudible sound was as irritating to Lena as someone scratching a fingernail on glass.
I beg you.
I warned you, didn't I?
He grabbed her hips and lifted her up, bringing her to her knees. Then he squeezed her neck tightly and pressed her head into the sofa cushion. Lena twitched and tensed all her muscles.
Well, you're wasting your time. It will only hurt more. Relax, you'll have to do this every day now.
Lena didn't understand anything, but these words made her very wary. What had happened? Why had she been kidnapped? If only to rape her, that's one thing, but if it was something else, what other thing? And how does he know, Andre? The questions pounded senselessly in her head. The luscious smell of Vaseline spread lightning fast across the room, and at the same second, a strong palm, abundantly smeared with this nasty stuff, dug between her legs.
You see how kind I am, but I could have given you a dry spanking. I'm not a sadist. I understand everything.
Lena shrieked, but immediately received a blow on the head, was silent, and all the rest of the time, while her tormentor puffed, hovering over her, silently howled. For several hours, Andre and Dima had been pacing around the city, trying to find any information about Lena, to no avail. And the biggest problem was that they didn't know where to find Ivanich. They had nothing but his phone number. But the most terrible thing was waiting for Andre in his room. From the ruined computer, which was lying on the floor, was ripped out of the roots of the hard drive. And on the table there was not a single tape with the material filmed in Hungary. Andre entered the entrance on autopilot, went up to his floor, but even before he could put the key in the keyhole, the door opened by itself. He stood on the threshold in confusion, hesitating to go inside. Then he cautiously opened the door wider and peered into the hallway. Everything around him was turned upside down. Drawers of closets were opened and gutted. Clothes, books, and documents were scattered everywhere.
That's it. It's over.
What else happened?
The apartment was broken into. They stole the movie. They stole everything. Cassettes, discs. Lena's documents are missing.
Jesus, has that asshole lost his mind?
Wait, don't hang up. Someone's ringing the doorbell.
He walked silently down the corridor, looked through the peephole, and almost lost his senses at what he saw. Lena's mother stood on the other side of the door. Andre was not prepared for such a turn of events. He slid down the wall and, squatting down, put his arms around his head. To lie low and pretend that no one was home would be foolish, because the lights were on in the apartment, and 100% she heard his voice. How could she explain the mess? And how to explain her daughter's absence? The bell continued to rattle insistently. Not to open it would be absolute stupidity.
Good evening, Svetlana Vladimirovna.
Don't smile at me. I can feel something's wrong. Where's Lena?
I don't even know what to say.
Don't chew the fat. Tell it like it is. What is it? Why is everything scattered?
We've been robbed.
That's not where you start. Where's Lena?
I didn't find her. She wasn't at work. She didn't come home. I don't know where she is. The phone is not answering.
Where are the police? Call them quickly.
About 30 minutes later, the squad arrived. The investigators indifferently inspected the apartment and then began to interrogate Andre in the kitchen. After listening to a few questions, he suddenly realized that he himself was guilty of robbery, and that, quite possibly, that he himself organized it and now wants to dump this rotten case on the valiant law enforcement agencies, which have a lot to do and have no time to be distracted by all sorts of nonsense.
What nonsense? I've lost all the footage.
What kind of footage?
I was editing a movie at home. All the footage was stolen.
What movie?
Just a movie. A documentary. It was filmed in Hungary.
What else was stolen?
My wife's passport.
Why do they need your wife's passport?
I don't know. I told you at the very beginning that my wife is missing. She hasn't been in touch, hasn't been to work, hasn't come home.
I repeat, this is not our area of expertise. What do you mean she's missing? Maybe she's at a friend's house having tea, or at her lover's. Her cell phone's dead, and you've created a panic here.
I've been everywhere, called everyone. She's nowhere to be found, and she hasn't talked to anyone since this morning or shown up at anyone's house. So what do we do?
You have to wait at least 48 hours and then write a missing persons report. Come back tomorrow. We'll finish the questioning and decide what to do with your wife.
Andrei felt caught between two fires. That's why he couldn't tell the whole truth, realizing what could happen to him and Lena after that. The truth automatically turned into a death sentence, but he saw no other way out. Already at the door, Andrei grabbed one of the investigators by the sleeve and asked,
"What if I know who kidnapped Lena?"
Sitting back in his leather armchair, Ivan Ivanovich felt completely satisfied. He had no compassion, no pity, no remorse. He was sure that he had done everything right, both from the point of view of business and from the point of view of concepts. And the fact that he raped the girl, so it's normal, she has more to come, and who will know, because she will not yell, pity his sucker and his mother. And of course, she'll have a lot to remember. He had a lot of fun with that pussy. Something she was quiet there. Ivan Ivanovich was worried and threw a glance in the direction of the sofa, where Lena was lying curled up in a ball.
Are you alive there? Well, you don't want to answer, and don't. Say thank you for not giving you to my bull to be torn apart. They wouldn't have spared you. They'd have beaten you so bad, you'd have washed your blood. I know them. You're asking why, and I'll tell you business. And in this business, you turned out to be a thing that was sold dearly. It happens. But don't be sad. Everything's gonna be all right. You go to Uncle Monti, and he'll teach you things you don't know how to do. You see what that bitch does?
He got up from his chair, picked up his laptop from the table and set it on the couch next to Lena, walked in from behind her and lifted the bag hiding her face. Lena struggled to lift her eyelids, which were sticky from dried tears, and the bright light hurt her eyes. Gradually, blurred silhouettes began to appear, and on the screen of the laptop, she saw the frames from the movie, which in Hungary filmed Andrei.
Where did you get this from?
It's my movie. Do you want to star in such a movie?
Lena closed her eyes and lowered her head, but the torturer standing behind her grabbed her hair and yelled,
No, look, get used to it. Soon you'll be in her place. Imagine how many men you'll have. It's always Andrei and Andrei. Did you like it with me? Tell me honestly, did you like it?
Ivanich let go of her hair and ran his fingers along her neck, trying to be as affectionate as possible. Lena turned sharply and sank her teeth into his hand with all her might.
You bitch! I treated you like a human being, and you like this.
He had already swung to hit her, but at that time there was a knock on the door.
You're lucky asshole. Who's there? Come in.
Ivan Ivanovich, everything's ready. We can load it.
Good, let's get started.
Her stiff arms were completely unresponsive and lay along her body like absorbent cotton. Even if Lena had wanted to resist, she couldn't. Two orderlies held her tightly, one by the shoulders, the other settled on her feet. The doctor fumbled for a vein and skillfully inserted the needle. The liquid in the syringe turned purple, mixed with the blood and began to slowly seep in. Lena felt how the sounds and colors began to dissolve. Finally, everything disappeared, and only the bright spot from the light bulb still shone before her eyes, but soon went out along with the remnants of consciousness.
And she won't wake up?
Guarantee at least 10 hours of sound sleep.
You must guarantee me that after this healthy sleep, nothing will happen to her, or you'll be flying after her.
Everything seemed to be going according to plan. It remained to settle things with Dima and Andrei, but that was the least of Ivan Ivanovich's worries. Breaking these two suckers was no problem at all. There were over 100 of their unanswered calls on the phone. In about 2 hours, the guard reported from the airport that the cargo was on board and the plane had taken off safely. Now that the main issue was resolved, it was possible to talk to them as well.
Why do you keep calling me endlessly? I told you in Russian not to stick your fucking nose in my business.
Ivan Ivanovich, but it's mean of you.
Well, I want to warn you, one extra word from you and you're finished. I hope you realize that I'm not joking.
I understand, but I think it's already too late.
What do you mean it's too late?
Andrei was with the investigator. He told me all about you.
Well, that's great. He has exactly 8 hours left to play dumb and take a statement from the police. If this does not happen within the allotted time, then after each hour of delay, he will receive one severed finger of his beloved wife. And with you, it'll be a short conversation. I hope I won't have to say it a second time.
I understand.
That's it. I'm waiting for the information. Remember, the clock is ticking.
Ivanovich poured himself a glass of whiskey and drank it in one gulp. walked around the room looking for cigarettes, adjusted the cushions on the sofa, and noticed a woman's handbag, picked it up, turned it in his hands and wanted to throw it away, but curiosity got the better of him. He emptied the contents onto the table. The usual female mess: lipstick, tissues, tampons, comb, purse. Ivanich swept everything off the table except the purse, opened it, rummaged through the compartments, and only then noticed the photograph, which was inserted under a transparent film. It showed a pretty woman with very familiar facial features. He took out the photograph and, putting on his glasses, brought it closer to his eyes to take a closer look at it. Suddenly, his hands shook. He turned pale, and, as if not believing what he saw, threw the photograph on the table, then grabbed it again. Adrian recognized this woman. It was his Sveta, the same Sveta whom he had once raped, and because of whom he had gone to prison. A wild cry of despair spread throughout the house. Lena had long since woken up, but she was afraid not only to open her eyes, she was afraid even to move a finger. She listened warily to the unfamiliar language in the room, trying to understand at least one word. She could feel the breath of the man who was leaning over her and listening to her breathing for a long time. He was obviously waiting for her to wake up, talking nervously on the phone and pacing back and forth, his boots thudding on the parquet. Lena lost track of time, and there was no strength left to fight the immobility. She slowly opened her eyes and took a deep breath. The man turned abruptly toward her, and after taking a few steps with difficulty, sat down on the edge of the bed, took Lena's hand and began to stroke it. It was hard to catch emotion in his narrow eyes, but a sincere smile peeked out from under his lush mustache.
Who are you? Why are you staring at me? Where am I?
In response, the man gently took Lena by the shoulders, tucked her back into bed, and gently covered her with a blanket. She tried to pull free, but the man pinned her down hard with his arms. New voices, male and female, were heard in the room. The newcomer spoke at length to her host, and then she felt someone crouch on the edge of her bed and gently touch her shoulder.
Lena, listen to me. Please. My name is Teresa. I helped Andre and Dima on the set. I was a translator.
Teresa, why am I here? What do you want from me? Let me go home, please.
Listen to me carefully. I'm going to yell at you now, but don't pay attention to it. These people don't understand a word of Russian. Let them think I'm intimidating you. I'm on your side. I was the one who called Dima and told him everything, but it was too late. Try to do whatever they tell you to do. We have to stall so that Dima and Andre can get here in time. Then we'll all try to free you together.
What do they need me for?
I'll tell you all about it later. But in a nutshell, this fat guy wants to make you a porn actress. He wants you to be in his movies.
What makes him think I can and want to do this?
I'll explain everything later, but for now, please do as I tell you, or you and I will be in trouble.
Sweetie, I take it you've clearly explained to the girl her responsibilities and what awaits her if she continues to resist.
Yes, Mr. Molnar. She promised to be obedient.
Well, tell her this apartment is at her disposal. She can take 3 days to rest and clean up. Then she can get back to work. You can't go anywhere. Attila will see to that. Not yet. It'll depend on how she behaves.
Can I visit Lena?
You may, but only in the presence of Attila.
Please don't do anything stupid. We have at least 3 days to figure this out. I'll be right here. Don't yell. Don't resist. Accept whatever this man offers you. Don't be afraid if he makes a pass at you. He's impotent. He'll just caress you a little. That's all. The main thing is to wait for hours. I'll bring you some new clothes. And something to eat.
Okay, I won't do anything. But just explain to me why this happened to me.
I don't know why. Maybe because you're beautiful.
After everyone had left, Lena tried to stretch the muscles in her legs, and when she felt the warmth spreading through them, made another attempt to stand up. This time, it worked. Slightly staggering, she wandered around the apartment in search of the bathroom, looking at her new place of confinement along the way. Despite her condition, Lena managed to appreciate its sophistication. Then she stopped at the huge mirror in the hallway, turned on the light, and took a long look at her reflection. A completely different person looked back at her.
Well, welcome to your new life.
The lieutenant was greatly surprised when Andre demanded in an ultimatum form to return his missing wife report, saying that everything was normal. His wife had been found,
In general, he made up some nonsense. But the law is the law. If the victim wants to take back the statement, the investigator should have no doubt that he does it sincerely. Leaving the office, Andre tore the written sheet of paper into small shreds and threw it in the basket. He already had a ticket to Budapest in his pocket and was ready to fight for his Lena, not even suspecting what might be waiting for him. And not only him. Jumping out of the bus, Andrew quickly ran to his entrance and, already opening the metal door, heard a familiar voice calling him. He looked back and saw Svetlana sitting on the bench. She was not at all like the imperious lady she seemed to be before. In front of Andre was a depressed, crying, with bruises halfway down her face, a poor woman whose eyes were begging for help.
Son, tell me the truth. I beg you, tell me the whole truth.
Svetlana Vladimirovna held the mug of tea with shaky hands, not even feeling how it burned her palms, and listened to Andre's confused story, who decided not to humor and reveal everything as it was. Well, almost everything. Every phrase he said, like a blade, cut into her ears and tore at her consciousness. Was it all there in the world around her? Porn, fallen girls, perverts, rapists, lewdness, lust. She'd lived her life with all that out of her vocabulary, and it turned out that her daughter was covered in it.
Why did you put her in this shit? And what to do? How to live on?
I didn't involve her. On the contrary, I kept her out of it as much as I could. Who knew it would turn out this way? Please don't do anything stupid while I'm in Hungary. I promise you, I'll find Lena.
You might find it, but then what? Do you have any idea what she's going through right now? What about me? He'll go to Hungary. What are you going to do there alone?
You think yelling at her is going to help her?
Andre came out of the kitchen to ease the heat at least a little. He couldn't tell everything, of course. After all, the whole truth would have completely finished her off. And now he had to think of something that would help Svetlana Vladimirovna survive the days while he was away. At this thought, Andre stammered, because he did not understand what awaited him in Budapest, and how he would get out of this story. It's easy to promise, I'll go and save him. But how to do it? What's there to do it? Just an airplane ticket and a passionate desire to do something. That's all there is. Not even money. Here it is, the scariest question of all. Money.
What idiots we are. We bought the tickets, but how can we live in Hungary without money?
I'm in shock myself. I don't know where to borrow it.
Call Ivanovich, tell him to pay us the promised fee.
You're crazy. Tell him why you need the money.
If you don't want to call, give me the phone. I'll call him myself. I don't give a shit what he says or what he thinks.
Do you care what he'll do to us and to Lena's mother?
I don't give a shit. There's no other way out anyway. Send me his number.
I warned you.
Who? I'm listening.
Ivan Ivanovich, it's Andre. I beg you not to hang up.
I wasn't going to hang up. I wanted to call you myself.
I need to talk to you. It's very urgent. Could we meet somewhere now?
I can stop by your house.
Do you know where I live?
You won't believe it. I do.
Yes, how could you not know?
I understand the conversation will be about money.
You're just reading my mind.
And what else could be in the head of a moron like you? Okay, no offense. I'll be there in 15 minutes.
Andre didn't know whether to be happy or sad at what he had heard. This malleability and agreeableness of the man who yesterday had promised to wipe him in powder and who was involved in the kidnapping of his wife caused doubts, and something nasty whined under the spine, as if warning of danger. The ringing of the doorbell interrupted his confused thoughts. Andre had no time to get up from the sofa before he heard Svetlana Vladimirovna's voice from the corridor.
Andre, someone's here. I'll get it.
She opened her eyes and stretched. There was a light on in the apartment and something smelled delicious. Lena got up quietly so as not to squeak the springs of the mattress and, throwing on a robe, walked toward the kitchen where the appetizing odors were spreading. She was most afraid of catching the fat man there. She was very hungry, but she could hardly eat a bite in his presence. But judging by the silhouette that flashed through the glass doorway, there was a woman in the kitchen. Lena opened the casement and entered the room.
Hello, you're so sleepy. Would you like some Zeppelins?
Hi, I'm glad it's you and not that man. I don't know what Zeppelins are, but I'm so hungry I'll eat anything.
Zeppelins are a Lithuanian national dish. It's delicious. Don't be afraid. It's Judith.
Who's Judith? Is it the one who was in Andre's movie?
Yes. Why are you so tense?
I have an excuse.
Lena stared at her plate, afraid to meet the girl who had entered the kitchen. She hadn't expected something like this and had no idea how to communicate with the man who had slept with her husband a few days ago. Judith sat down next to her and put her hand affectionately on Lena's shoulder.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's not so nice to meet me.
Apparently you know everything.
In great detail.
All in all, that's it. Stop playing games and playing dumb. Yes, I fucked your husband, but that's a thing of the past. Now we're talking about something else. You're in trouble, and we don't have time for bickering and teasing each other. I talked to Andre today.
What do you mean you talked to him? Is he here?
No, but he's flying to Budapest tonight.
Why? He must stay at home. They'll kill him. And Mom...
It's his decision. And remember, he's not coming to me. He's coming to you. And let's call it a day. Every minute of our stupid chatter separates you from freedom.
Well, how did you get here? Fatty said no one but Teresa could get into the apartment.
Well, it doesn't matter what he said. There's always someone who wants to help you.
The conversation was suddenly interrupted by the sound of the door opening. The girls flinched and turned their heads at the same time. A man's silhouette glimmered in the glass opening and, growing larger, began to approach. The shutters creaked open, and Attila entered the kitchen.
You have 5 minutes. Monty is on his way out of the office. Teresa, you can stay, and you can follow me quickly.
He grabbed Judith by the arm and dragged her behind him. Lena looked at them in surprise and then turned to Teresa for clarification, as she didn't understand anything at all.
Don't be afraid of Attila. He's in love with Judith, too. Secretly in love.
God, why did I have to go through all this?
Don't cry, sweetheart. No one's ever died from it. Even if it doesn't work out.
What if it doesn't work out? Am I going to get fucked again? Why? I don't want to. I want to go home.
Lena, I'm begging you, don't do anything stupid. Monty's not the joking type. If you don't want to end up in a whorehouse, then do what he says and stall for time. If he gets mad, it's over. You go to bed. I'll clean this place up. No sooner had Teresa taken her to her bedroom than the lock of the front door clicked again, and the voices of Monty and Attila could be heard in the hallway.
What are you yelling for? The girl's tired, gone to bed.
What a mother, Teresa. If you say another word, you'll regret it. Go on, get out of here. Why are you shaking, you fool?
All this time, Lena, wrapped in a blanket, sat in the corner of the bed and listened intensely to the sounds coming from behind the door. When the shuffling footsteps began to approach, she clenched into a ball and shook her whole body. There was a nagging feeling of incomprehension and rejection. This couldn't have happened to her. What had she done to anger the Almighty? Had she changed her life from an almost puritanical woman to a whore bitch, ready to satisfy her lust, so long hidden every hour? Why did she open this Pandora's box? Why let her passion run free? Maybe she shouldn't have changed anything and lived as she had been living. Hiding, deceiving herself. This was the punishment. Huts. Monty pushed open the bedroom door with his cane, and after standing on the threshold for a moment, walked over to the bed.
Why are you shaking, you fool?
He grabbed the edge of the blanket and pulled it sharply toward him. Lena didn't have time to react, so unexpected was it. Moved to the wall and, wrapping her arms around her bare legs covering her breasts, prepared to fight. All the things Teresa had asked her to do had slipped her mind. Ivan Ivanovich, like a hunted animal, rushed around the office, finding no place for himself. Kicked everything that got in his way. Finally collapsed in his chair and, unclenching his fist, stared unblinkingly at the crumpled photograph lying in the palm of his hand. How many years had passed, and it turned out that the feeling that normal people call love had never gone away. But no matter how much he justified himself to himself, no matter how much he searched for arguments saying that he was innocent, it all came down to the fact that he was a creature who had broken the life of first his mother and then her daughter. And that fact didn't even fit in his twisted mind. It was a horror. It was his nightmare that had haunted him all these days. And everything was going so smoothly. The sucker was screwed. The girl was sent away without any problems. The money was repaid. No one knows anything, and no one will say anything to anyone. It's beautiful. And suddenly, this photo turns the whole scheme upside down. Everything has to stop now. It can still be fixed, can it?
Get the accountant here and the head of security. Now!
A full-figured woman with an unimaginable hairstyle, which was in fashion 30 years ago, entered the office.
I'm listening to you.
How are things going with the payment from Hungary?
The money is already in the account.
All of it?
Here, all the money is here. Everything is as per the contract.
I don't give a shit about your contract. Get out.
Not understanding anything, the accountant, without hurrying, put the papers back into the folder and, proudly raising her head, left the office. The head of security immediately rushed through the open door.
So, Igor, sit down and write it down. We need to urgently find the mother of the girl who was sent to Hungary.
Shall I bring her here?
There's no need to bring anyone anywhere. Just find me her address.
I see, Ivan Ivanovich. Everything will be there by evening.
What evening? You've got 10 minutes.
All right.
Wait, how was the delivery? How's the girl feeling? Is she working yet?
They say it went okay. No problems. She's resting for now.
Igor, contact them and tell them my request. In general, I want no one to touch her for the time being. I'll be there, and we'll work it out. Tell them that I have a great financial offer for them, but only one condition. Don't touch the girl.
We'll do it. When are you leaving?
As soon as you find her mother. And don't drag this out, Igor.
The head of security went out and Ivan Ivanovich plunged back into dreary reflections from which he was pulled by a telephone call. It was Andrei. I had to pretend that I was still stern and adamant, asking for money. That's good, he thought. I'll be sure to give it to him, let him search for Lena, and in the meantime I'll solve everything myself. 15 minutes later, a huge black Jeep scaring away the pigeons squeezed in between the cars parked in the yard. Ivan Ivanovich got out of it and, paying no attention to the excited old lady sitting on the bench, entered the entrance. After standing a little in front of Andrei's apartment, he finally hesitantly pressed the bell button and, hearing a woman's voice from behind the door, turned pale and was ready to run down the stairs. But the lock had already clicked, and a familiar face appeared in the doorway. The face of the woman from the photograph in Lena's purse, a little older, but not losing its charm, the face of his Sveta. Ivan Ivanovich jumped back in surprise and instinctively tilted his head, afraid that she would recognize him.
I must have gotten the wrong door.
Ivan Ivanovich, are you leaving? But we had a deal. You've promised.
Ivan Ivanovich froze. In these moments, he felt himself a delinquent boy who had been exposed and was now being called in for severe punishment. At last, he pulled himself together and turned resolutely.
I'm not going anywhere. I just thought I had the wrong address. I didn't expect to see this woman here.
He looked intently into Svetlana Vladimirovna's eyes. Her pupils dilated. She flinched and grabbed Andrei's arm. He looked at her incomprehensibly and asked,
What's wrong? Are you not feeling well?
Meet Andrei. This is Lena's father.
Suddenly, Ivan Ivanovich's eyes went blurry. His legs went limp and he collapsed like a hamstring right on the concrete floor. Monti sat down on the chair opposite the bed and looked at Lena in silence for a few minutes with a strange look that was probably more interested than lustful, then leaned forward and touched her shoulder with the edge of his cane. Lena flinched and cried out,
What do you want from me? Do you want to fuck me? So fuck me and stop staring. Hurry up or you won't have time.
Lena interrupted half-heartedly, realizing that she had almost blurted out about Andrei's arrival, even though she knew that Monti didn't understand Russian.
Do you speak English?
Unexpectedly, Monti asked and moved the blanket with his cane, gesturing for her to cover herself.
Yes, I understand a little.
Get dressed. Let's go to my studio and I'll show you around.
Show me what? How I'm going to be fucked?
Why fuck me again? I want you to be in my movies. Yeah, they fuck, but it's a genre. Do you know what porn is?
I know, but why me? What was wrong with Judit?
And how do you know her name?
Andrei has no secrets from me. Maybe you'll turn your back.
That's good. So, you know what happened between them?
Yes, I do. And what of it? I've forgiven him.
I haven't forgiven her, though.
Unexpectedly, Monti asked and moved the blanket with his cane, gesturing for her to cover herself. They drove silently through the city, and Lena noticed that Monti drove the car not just along some shortcut, but turned off into beautiful streets, drove past some interesting buildings, as if giving them a chance to admire Budapest. Because of this improvised excursion, Lena was distracted from sad thoughts, and looked with interest at the beauty and faces of people opening outside the window, and some of those who now wandered along the sidewalk, whether it was a guy or a girl, may well be involved in what this city is famous for, and nothing. No one looks at them, no one points fingers at them, no one turns their heads judgmentally. And some of them are definitely going either to the shoot or after it. Someone who has obviously spent the night in a sex club or even in a brothel. And then they will come home like everyone else, eat, kiss their mom, put in the family box, honestly earn money, and sit down to watch some stupid show about love. Maybe there's no shame in it, Lena thought. Maybe there's no need for all this tension, fear, screaming, and resentment. What if she just befriended this fat man, submitted to him? He's harmless. I've been raped at home. But here no one's even laid a finger on me yet. I'm driving in a fancy car, I live in a beautiful apartment. Now he's going to introduce me to his movie colleagues. I've seen his movies. There are no perversions, sadism, or anything else nasty, the usual beautiful porn. Lena furtively glanced at Monti. No, she resolutely threw all lulling thoughts out of her head. This is wrong, it shouldn't be. The bridge over the Danube was left behind. The car crawled up the sharply uphill street and, after a little more winding, stopped at a massive gate, in the ornamentation of which were skillfully woven 3 letters XXX. The gate slid aside, and Monti drove into a courtyard that was filled with many movie cars with people scurrying about. No sooner had he stepped out than a strange-looking girl in huge horned glasses flew up to him and, shuffling along beside him, began to talk non-stop, poking at the paper she was holding. Monti, as if he did not notice her, walked around the car, opened the back door, and gave Lena his hand to help her out, before turning to the girl who was following him.
Sylvia, meet Lena. She's working for us from today, in place of Judith.
I don't understand you, Mr. Molnar.
You don't need to understand anything. Accept that fact and don't ask any more silly questions. She works for me. If I find out anyone tries to hurt her or even looks askew in her direction, I'll be sorry. Tell everyone here that...
You could have just said, welcome to the team. My name is Sylvia. I'm Mr. Molnar's personal assistant. If you have any questions, I'm always happy to help.
Lena nodded in response and extended her hand in greeting. Sylvia squeezed her palm firmly and glanced down at her with a studied gaze. Yes, she thought. Monti certainly has taste.
Come on, Lena. I'll show you the studio.
They went forward, and Monti, lingering a little longer, gazed longingly after his new favorite. A few more days and this delightfully innocent body would be profitable and pleasurable. It is only necessary not to scare her away, to make her feel that there is nothing scary in it, that there is no violence here but only art, the art of sex. And he had seen how Lena handled this art with his own eyes. And it was only an amateur video, a simple home entertainment, but what she would be able to do when she would be assigned a task, and dozens of professionals would be working on the fulfillment of this task. Sylvia opened the door and let Lena go forward into the semi-darkness of the studio, took her by the hand and led her to the light that filled the entire central space. Because of the large number of people and clutter of equipment, nothing could be seen, and only voluptuous moans came from the front and tickled the receptors responsible for sexual arousal, which seemed to have fallen asleep forever. Lena instinctively raised herself on her toes and stretched her neck, trying to see what she heard. A few more steps, and blinded by the light, she found herself almost in the thick of things. Already she could reach her hand to the 2 naked bodies, could breathe in the scent of their sexy vibes.
Stop.
A loud scream brought Lena out of her trance. The crowd buzzed, stirred, the eyes of the actress, who a second ago was panting with sexual excitement, extinguished, and she sat down on the edge of the sofa with her head down tiredly.
Well, are you going to try it? Look how beautiful everything is. You don't have to worry about anything. You'll be the best, I promise.
I want to watch some more, learn a little more.
Okay, you can stay here.
Monti ran his hand gently through her hair, then turned to Attila, who was standing nearby, and continued in Hungarian.
Get her a chair and see that everything is in order. I'll be in the editing room. Let her watch for now.
The white spot in front of his eyes began to enlarge, acquiring real outlines, and finally turned into a light bulb hanging from the ceiling. Ivan Ivanovich turned his head and realized that he was lying on the floor. He tried to raise himself but could not. His head was buzzing, his arms and legs wouldn't obey. Svetlana Vladimirovna splashed water in his face and sat down next to him.
I never imagined such a thing. Ivan fainted. Do you have a heart attack? Andrei is going to call an ambulance.
There's no need for an ambulance. It's all right. These things happen. Tell him not to call anywhere.
Ivan Ivanovich tensed up from the last of his strength and with difficulty got to his feet. This really happened to him for the first time. But how else could he react to the words spoken by Svetlana Vladimirovna? Lena is his daughter. The girl he had raped and sold into slavery was his daughter. Ivanich was ready to do anything. To spend any money to atone for his sin and return everything to the way it was. To apologize, to repent, to put a candle in church, in general. To cleanse himself of the sin that took on his soul. But this cleansing procedure was only possible if Lena had been just Sveta's daughter. What was to be done now? He clung to the wall and made his way to a chair in the large room, sat down, and found Andrei with a glance.
Bring my briefcase.
This one?
Ivan Ivanovich opened the gilded clasp and pulled out a weighty bundle from inside.
This is for you. There's no need to return anything. I'll fly back tomorrow. I hope everything works out.
Thank you. But why do you need to fly? I can manage on my own.
You can only jerk off by yourself. All right, no arguments. Take the money and meet me at the airport tomorrow. You'll be told the flight. Rent a car, a nice one. That's it, go.
Andrei did not object. He took the already prepared bag, kissed the cheek of his mother-in-law, who understood nothing, and shaking hands with Ivan Ivanovich, resolutely left the apartment.
Can you explain to me what's going on? Do you know what happened to Lena too?
Ivan Ivanovich averted his eyes, pretending not to understand the question, after which he rubbed the bruised back of his head for a long time, searching for the right words.
Why are you silent?
What is there to say? I know no more than you. Andrei told me that she was kidnapped and taken abroad. He asked me to help with money. I agreed.
Why do you want to go to Hungary?
It seems to me that he can't do it by himself. I have connections there, friends. It's better this way. Don't cry, we'll find Lena. You think I can sit here, knowing my daughter's in trouble?
He said it, and inside everything was churning with self-loathing, and the anticipation that Sveta would someday find out what he'd done to their daughter anyway. Never before had he felt so vile in his soul. Not even the death that so often accompanied his business had caused such a storm of emotion as a seemingly innocent prank on a young girl.
Are you sick again?
Can you make some strong tea?
Do you want black or green?
Black, of course, and stronger.
You know, I've forgiven you. I gave birth to Lena and forgave you right away. It's a stupid thing. Love. I've never been able to love anyone since you. I ruined your life and I wasted mine.
Monty sat down in the editing room in front of the monitors, opened the last project in which Judith had been filmed, and began methodically, one by one, to delete the episodes with her participation, without thinking for a second, and without giving himself a chance to look at the once adored body. By pressing the delete button on the computer, Monty erased her image from his mind forever. It didn't matter how much time and money had been spent on her, or how much nerve and effort it had taken to turn a simple girl into a sexually sophisticated socialite, an object of worship and lust for millions of men. And, of course, he removed love from his heart. Most likely his last love. How could he, an aging, impotent man, handle another affair like this? And was it worth it? After he finished, Monty went out into the studio. Lena sat in a chair with her leg over his and watched his actors work intently. To say that Lena didn't like what she saw in front of her would be an understatement. She watched with interest everything that was happening on the set. Lena felt that she could do what Monty demanded of her and might even enjoy it. The only thing holding her back and discouraging her from making a positive decision was violence. Lena could not forgive the way she had been treated, that she had been abused and effectively sold into slavery. If it were all consensual, it is not excluded that she would have easily entered the frame and would lie under any of the handsome men standing next to her. And it does not matter what Andrew would think about it. Let it be a sweet revenge for his treason. For several minutes now, Monty had been standing behind Lena's back, enjoying the vibes wafting from her. Her scent overpowered all the odors filling the studio. She smelled like a freshly washed child, exuding freshness and purity. But it was hardly the purity of her thoughts, and Monty, as a sophisticated connoisseur of female lust, picked up on that instantly. And now it was to be taken advantage of.
Well, did you like it?
I can't say it disgusts me.
Would you like to have lunch with me and then go shopping? We'll pick you up something for the shoot and just for fun to accentuate your beauty.
Why not? I'm starving already.
Satisfied with the previous day, Monty slumped in his armchair reading the evening paper. Suddenly, the door rattled open. Who dares to break in without knocking, he thought, and crumpled the pages to look at the impertinent man, and his face changed instantly. He hadn't expected to see anyone but Andre here.
What are you looking at, asshole? Where's Lena?
Monti was gulping for air, unable to utter a word, but at the same time he was discreetly pressing the panic button that was embedded in the armrest of his chair. Andre, leaning over the desk, grabbed him by his lush mustache.
Didn't you understand my question? Then I'll repeat it. Where is Lena?
Monti was in pain. He tried to break free and kicked Andre in the face, but the latter responded by pushing the chair with his foot with all his might. Monti tumbled off it and rolled across the floor. Andre ran up and, piling on top of him, used both hands to squeeze his throat. He wheezed, twitching his arms and legs helplessly. At that moment, something jabbed Andre painfully in the back. A convulsion ran through his muscles and his arms unclenched, breaking under the weight of his collapsed body. Attila put a stun gun in his side pocket and pushed the senseless Andre to the floor with his foot, then lifted the chief under his arms and sat him down on the sofa.
What took you so long? Another minute and I would have been dead.
But you didn't die, though. What's to be done about it now?
Into the Danube, so that there's no trace of him here. I don't need him anymore.
Attila bound Andre's hands and feet with duct tape, hoisted him on his shoulder, and carried him out of the office. Monti picked up a cell phone from the desk and dialed Teresa's number.
Call Ivan. We have a problem with the project.
What's wrong? Something with Lena?
Number worse. Her husband showed up. He just almost strangled me. Ask him how he could have known about our deal with the Russian. I hope it wasn't you who blabbed it to him.
Teresa hangs up the phone and pulls the car to a stop.
That's it. The situation is out of control. Now Andre is in trouble too.
What's wrong with him?
I don't know the details, but he attacked Monti.
What are we supposed to do now?
I don't know, but Lena definitely needs to be rescued right now.
Teresa started the car, turned the steering wheel sharply to the left, and the car, wheels whistling, sped off. Everyone knew where to go, but no one knew what to do. Suddenly, Judith put her hand on Teresa's shoulder and squeezed it tightly.
Drop me off outside the office?
Are you out of your mind?
I said stop. You go get Lena. I'll call you.
Judith jumped out of the car and, opening the gate with her key, entered the office and pushed Monti's office door open with her foot.
Are you two determined to finish me off for good today?
What have you done with Andre?
You could at least change your repertoire. One man wants Lena, the other one wants Andre. Make up your minds who's who and who needs who.
What have you done with Andre?
Forget about him. What you were to him was just a fling. What's in it for him? He fucked and forgot, but you're a nobody now. Do you feel worthless now? Who needs your beauty now? Who'd want your charms? No one. Because you're a nobody.
With each new word, Monti became more and more aggressive. He had already come close to Judith, and his eyes were full of hatred.
What are you doing dressed up in my clothes? You bought all this with my money.
I earned it.
I worked and you fucked. I was working and you were enjoying yourself. You only pretended to care about me. You didn't care about me. You didn't care about the man who saved you and got you out of the shit you were living in. And now you dare to open your mouth. She was working. Now you're gonna have a real job when you're out on the street with your bare ass. You'll be sucking bums to buy a piece of bread. Take it all off. I said take it off.
Monti, as if furious, grabbed her blouse and yanked as hard as he could. The fabric rattled, the buttons flew apart, and Judith barely had time to cover her naked body with her hands. He tossed the remains of the blouse aside and pushed the girl violently onto the couch. Judith screamed and fought back as he slapped her face, tore off the rest of her clothes, and ripped them to shreds. In the end, there was nothing left on her. Naked and defenseless, she lay on the cold leather couch, curled up, covering her face with her hands, not even feeling the blows anymore.
That's the way you came, and that's the way you'll leave, you ungrateful bitch.
At last, Monti stopped and, breathing heavily, stared at her for a long time. Then he spit under his feet and left the office, slamming the door loudly. The dinner was splendid. Svetlana, stupefied by the abundance and variety of food, finally lost control of herself after drinking several glasses of French champagne. Her head swirled sweetly, bells rang in her ears, and all anxious thoughts flew away somewhere. He'd said everything would be all right, hadn't he? And she believed it. And how not to believe, when there was such splendor around and such confidence in words and deeds. Ivan was rudely gallant, and so ridiculous in his endeavor to appear refined and well-mannered. And for some reason she liked it, and actually, for the first time in her life, she felt a strange longing somewhere in her lower abdomen, which made her heart beat faster, and drops of sweat appeared on her forehead. She'd never felt anything like it before, and she was getting more curious by the minute about how it would end. How else do such evenings end? Svetlana guessed. She didn't know only one thing, that now, with all her longing and desire burning inside, she was sitting on the very sofa where a few hours ago her daughter had been brutally raped by the very man who at this very moment was pouring sparkling shamanic wine into her empty glass. And it was the contents of that glass that proved to be the sweet poison that had completely shut down her consciousness.
It's a beautiful house you have. I've only seen such things in movies.
You can say that all this appeared thanks to you. If I had not sat down then, it is unlikely that I would now become what I have become. So, thank you, Sveta.
Are you sure everything will be all right with Lena?
I guarantee not a single hair will fall from her head.
I like your confidence. And tell me, where did you get all this? A house like this, fine food, servants? You were just a simple kid from a working-class family.
Everything comes with experience.
Svetlana squeezed Ivan's hand tightly, unconsciously letting him know that she was ready for anything. But what was she ready for? She didn't understand it herself, since she didn't know anything about it, and could well consider herself a virgin. The 2 episodes that had happened to her in her youth were not taken into account, especially her first and only wedding night. Dennis was so excited that he didn't get drunk at all. He even stopped counting the number of shots he drank. Guests constantly yelled bitter, and he poured himself a new one after each kiss. He really didn't like those kisses. Svetkina's lips were hard as stone, dry and cold. He purposely turned her head aside and covered it with his own, so that the assembled relatives would not see this shame.
Sveta, don't you love me?
I told you that I love you. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Well, sitting doesn't mean you love me.
Dennis, don't start. Let's go dancing.
The whole evening seemed endless, not only to him but to her as well. They both waited fearfully for the inevitable denouement. But Svetka was most afraid. She was afraid of her deception. She felt sorry for Dennis, but even more sorry for herself. What if she couldn't do it? What if the pain that had not subsided would make itself known and would not allow what he was waiting for to happen? Questions did not give her peace, and she wanted to finish this prolonged foreplay with shouting, dancing, and vodka. Drunken guests with greasy jokes and hooting long ran after the car, which finally took the newlyweds to meet their fears. The parents' bedroom was ready. Down feather beds, mountains of starched pillows, patterned linens. The bed was waiting. Without taking off her dress, Sveta sat down on all this splendor, pulled her veil out of her hair, and tossed it aside.
Well, let's give it a try.
Let's try it.
They fiddled with her dress for a long time, and only after tearing off a few hooks with meat did they manage to pull it off over her head. Svetka sat in her panties and bra in the middle of the crumpled bed, fixing her ruined hair, which, because of the abundance of varnish, did not want to be fixed. Dennis stood next to her and shamefully covered himself with his shirt. Dennis flicked the light switch and the bedroom went dark. He climbed onto the bed and crossed his legs and sat down next to Svetka. They sat opposite each other, eyes downcast, not knowing where to begin. Finally, he made up his mind, gently ran his palm over her face, and moved closer to kiss her.
Let's not do that. Just do your thing.
Here it was, the moment he had waited so long for, dreamed of all his life. Now what he had been laboring for so long and agonizingly long for would be accomplished. He would possess her. How many times he had done it in his dreams, and how pleasant and sweet it had been. The thoughts and the anticipation made him dizzy, and he could do nothing. Dennis fell on his side and in a voice like a girl roared,
Here we go again. Now let's try again.
And they did try it. And it worked. Dennis did not want to get up from his wife for a long time, as if feeling that it was all for the last time. Sveta responded by squeezing caresses from some depths of her subconscious. While her body and mind remained completely unconcerned with everything that was happening, they no longer obeyed her. Teresa raced the car through the city, ignoring the signs and traffic signals. Dima, clutching her seatbelt with his hands, occasionally glanced at her concentrated face, hesitating to start a conversation.
I've been dreaming about you all these days. I thought I'd arrive and the first thing I'd do would be to see you. And then business.
All you want to do is fuck, as you see. Business is more important.
I wish I'd known it would turn out like this.
Nobody knew. And no one knows how it's going to end either.
Dima looked at her warily. He didn't like those words. He was already so much worried for these days, and here it is and how it all started. He wanted this holiday of life to continue indefinitely, and he rushed to Budapest not to help Andrei, although it was not cancelled, but to meet his beloved as soon as possible. And this was not at all how he had imagined this meeting. There was no one from the guards in the entryway. This surprised Teresa. She silently opened the door with her key and tiptoed into the apartment, and at the same second Lena came out of the bathroom wiping her head with a towel. They bumped into each other and screamed hysterically from surprise and fright.
God, you scared me. Come in, I'll be right there.
She's settling in a little too well for a kidnapped woman.
Don't talk nonsense if you don't know anything.
Lena comes out of the bedroom and first thing she does is throw her arms around Dima.
I missed you so much. Where's Andrei? Is he here?
Yes. We flew in together, but he went. Anyway, he'll be here soon.
Where could he have gone? To her place?
Lena, don't worry. Judith had nothing to do with it. He went to Monti's. To talk.
Don't lie to me. I'm tired of these lies. Let go. Well, look. Monti's here and Andrei's not with him.
Monti enters the apartment and looks around at the whole group with a smirk.
Interesting meeting.
You asshole!
The blow from the cane went straight to his groin. Dima yelped and fell to his knees. Monti swung again, and the cane head crunched into the back of his head. Everything around him was plunged into a ringing darkness.
Who do you think you're fighting, you bitches? I didn't expect you to be such a bitch, Teresa. Why do you need that bitch? Do you realize what you've done? She could have been clean and beautiful, working for her own pleasure, and now she belongs in a brothel, where she'll be fucked from morning till night by ugly men. Have you thought about yourself? Do you realize you're no longer a citizen? I don't need you anymore.
Mr. Molnar, I'm sorry.
Why do you need my forgiveness? You apologize to her. You apologize to your stupid friend who decided to scare me. He's been feeding fish in the Danube for a long time. And you'll follow.
Monti pulled out his cell phone and dialed Attila's number.
Where are you?
Going into the office.
Let's get to the apartment quick. There's a problem here. We've got to solve them.
Lena couldn't make out a word of what was said, but the way Teresa reacted to the shouting made it clear that things were bad, and they would be bad not only for her but for everyone else. Monti looked at Lena, and he couldn't tell whether it was more love or hate. He was sorry to lose such a gem that could have been the centerpiece of his collection. But notions overrode common sense, and he had already said goodbye to her mentally.
That's it, honey. You're no actress. Now you'll be a common whore.
Let us go, please. What have we done to you?
What have you done to me? You ruined my life. Why the hell did you come after me? I was living my life, minding my own business, and here you are. I hate you.
What about Andrei? Tell me.
There's nothing wrong with your Andrei. Everything's fine. Forget about him. Attila has already decided everything.
Did you kill him?
Lena tried to get up, but Teresa grabbed her arm and yanked her sharply toward herself. At the same instant, there was a terrible crashing sound, and Monti's face, turning into a bloody mess, went flying in different directions. There was a ringing in the ears, and a nauseating stench filled the room at once. The girls lay there, pressed against each other, afraid to move. Something metallic clanked very close by. Lena was the first one who couldn't stand it. She jumped to her feet, grabbed a heavy crystal vase from the table, and only then raised her eyes. Attila was standing in front of her.
Don't be afraid.
He leisurely slipped his pistol into the holster hanging under his left arm and left the room. Teresa, not realizing anything, rushed first to Dima lying on the floor and put her fingers to his neck. His pulse was audible. They turned him over on his back and put a pillow under his head. which instantly became maroon with blood. Teresa splashed cold water in Dima's face, put a wet towel to the back of his head, and held absorbent cotton soaked in ammonia in front of his nose. Dima jerked his head and opened his eyes. The phone call caught Attila at the very entrance to the office, and the last words he heard from Monti came through the receiver as he entered the lobby. A crying Sylvia was sitting at her desk, hysterically typing something into the phone.
Why are you crying, beautiful? Did the groom hurt you?
You just want to laugh. You better go into the office. You'll stop laughing at once.
And what could there be in there that should surprise me?
You go in.
Attila looked at Sylvia incredulously, opened the study door and looked inside. The naked girl, face buried in a cushion, was lying on the couch, her scratched and bruised body shaking with sobs. Something stabbed painfully at her heart. Attila stepped closer and touched her shoulder to dispel his doubts. Alas, the girl turned, hiding her swollen face in her hair. It was Judith.
Who?
Third, Monty.
Sylvia! Quickly, the doctor and the clothes.
Shall we call the police?
No police! Do you understand me? No police. I'll do it myself.
Attila had been standing in the hallway for several minutes now, listening to Monty's heartfelt speech. How long he had put up with him, how long he had kept the heart-wrenching feeling inside him. He was afraid to call it love, afraid to give himself away. He tried to be near Judith all the time, to follow her like a shadow, to protect her from trouble and at the same time to enjoy her. But Attila could not change anything, not because he was afraid to do anything, but because he was afraid to harm her by his actions. That's the kind of love he had. And now this thing had crossed a line from which there was no going back. And the trigger pulled made it certain that the decision was irrevocable. Lena's cry brought him out of his oblivion. The hand with the gun flew up by itself. A shot. And complete silence. She ran down the stairs, holding on with her last strength, and every step was accompanied by pain spreading all over her body. The door was open. Judith did not hesitate to enter the apartment, and the first thing she smelled was the nauseating odor of gunpowder and blood. She felt dizzy, but she leaned against the wall and, taking a few more steps, looked into the living room. Lena was sitting in the corner, swaying monotonously back and forth, her unseeing eyes staring somewhere through her. In a chair with his back to the entrance sat Monti. Were it not for the hole in his head and the blood-spattered furniture, one would have thought he was just resting. Judith couldn't help herself and, bent in half, threw up her legs. Teresa jumped up at the noise from the next room and for the first second didn't even recognize her friend.
Judith, my God, what happened?
Teresa grabbed a plaid blanket lying on the couch and covered the vomit spreading on the floor with it, then took Judith, who was barely on her feet, under her arms and led her into the bathroom.
Come on, you need to wash your face.
Who did this?
Attila.
Why?
I don't know. Who beat you up like that?
It doesn't matter anymore. And you don't know what's wrong with Andre?
Teresa sat down on the edge of the tub, put her palm under the stream of water, then brought it to her mouth and took a few sips.
Who beat you up like that? He said that Andrea... that his... Anyway, he's gone.
What do you mean he's gone? What do you mean he's gone? Tell me.
Calm down, yelling won't help anyway. They killed Andre.
This one?
Yes. Don't cry. We have to get Lena out of her stupor before she goes crazy.
The girls lifted her up, dragged her into the bedroom, and put her on the bed next to Dima, whose head was wrapped in a bloody bandage.
He broke his head with his cane. Before it's too late, we need to get out of here.
There's no need to get out of here.
Attila stood in the doorway. Lena turned her head too, squinted her eyes and looked at him carefully, then slowly got up from the bed, walked almost right up to him, and spat in his face.
You should have.
Lena swung to strike, but the man calmly stepped aside and she came face to face with Andre. It was as if she'd exhaled the rest of her life force and her legs went under.
You alive?
Svetlana Vladimirovna ran around her daughter's apartment, not knowing what to grab onto to make it even cleaner and cozier. The kitchen smelled fragrantly of food, the floors sparkled with cleanliness, the curtains exuded the smell of freshness. She was really happy, doubly happy. Lena was coming back and love was coming back. For many years, she had believed that God had acted unjustly, depriving her of this happiness. And now it has come. It was a hard road. Especially hard were the last days, but everything turned out the way she wanted and the trouble passed by.
Lena is fine. They're flying in today.
Well, you see, I told you so.
My God, how happy I am.
Already from the doorstep, Svetlana Vladimirovna poured all the accumulated emotions on Andrei and Lena. She hugged and kissed, fed them almost from a spoon, asked questions, kissed again, and did not take her eyes off her daughter for a second. How she had changed these days. She's grown up or something. She had a different look in her eyes, a little thinner, and all this time she had only one desire, to tell about her happiness, to gossip in a woman's way. Would she understand? Andrew, dehydrated from the abundance of delicious food, stealthily left the living room and settling down on his favorite sofa fell asleep. For the first time, he did not think about anything. Everything was behind him, and there was no point in remembering those moments when he woke up in the trunk of a speeding car after being hit with a stun gun. His hands and feet were bound, his mouth taped shut. What was to follow? I didn't even have to make anything up. He tried to twitch and scream, but it was useless. His body wouldn't listen. Finally, the car stopped abruptly, the door slammed, and then silence. For some reason, Andrei started counting, sure that these were the last minutes of his life. Tears rolled down his cheeks and burned his eyelids. 185, 186, 187. Suddenly, the trunk lid opened, and a bright light blinded the already blind eyes. A knife blade flashed. Andrei clenched his eyes even harder. Everything. Is it really over? Someone grabbed him, pulled him out of the trunk, and ripped the duct tape off his mouth. Andrei wiped his eyes slick with dried tears and saw Attila in front of him.
Come on, do your thing.
You fool, I'm not a killer. I'm a friend.
Attila took him by the arm and dragged him behind him into the entryway. It was only now that Andrei recognized this yard. This was where Judith lived.
Where are you dragging me?
Go. Be silent.
Andrei stood behind him, and with the corner of his eye saw the terrible picture. He was afraid to turn his head. Everything was already clear. And suddenly Attila abruptly stepped aside, and directly in front of him, Andrei saw Lena's eyes. At first they were full of anger, burning with some fierce fire, then instantly changed, filled with surprise, incomprehension, and delight. But immediately blurred, and he barely had time to pick up her collapsed body.
Mom, your eyes have become so intense. I don't remember them shining like that before. Only lovers have such eyes.
And I have fallen in love.
Really?
Yes, in love. Lena, you can imagine, I turn out to know how to love.
And who is this lucky man?
We've known each other since high school. He loved me, I loved him too, but I married someone else. So, Lena, I met your father again. Your real father.
That's news. That's wonderful. Have you forgiven him?
I forgot all about it long ago.
When will you meet him?
Well, today it's too late, but tomorrow we'll definitely go to him. He has such a house.
Svetlana smiled and, to hide her embarrassment and avoid further questioning, began to put away the dishes. She was fiddling in the kitchen and didn't hear her cell phone ring. Lena picked it up from the table, looked at the screen where the caller's photo was displayed, and with a change in her face, tossed it aside.
Lena, someone's calling. Bring me the phone, please.
Who is it?
It's Ivan Ivanovich. It's your father.
Mother, I don't want this man to be my father.
They cried and sat hugged for a long time, and Lena, without hiding details, told her mother everything that had happened to her. And from what she had heard, Svetlana Vladimirovna, somewhere deep down in her soul, began to gradually extinguish, and then finally extinguish that faint flame, which a few days ago had melted her icy heart, and now it was once more shackled by coldness. Having lost the rest of her strength and wasted all her emotions, Lena fell asleep on the sofa. Her mother covered her with a plaid, turned out the light, locked the apartment, and already on the street dialed Ivan's number.
And I was expecting you tomorrow.
I wanted to do it now. Let's go to the bedroom.
Are you all right? How's Lena?
I'm fine. Let's go.
Maybe some champagne?
There's no need for champagne. Come on, I'm waiting.
Svetlana took her time undressing, folded her clothes neatly on a chair and lay down on the bed. Ivanich was frightened by this determination, but also excited at the same time. After the third time, having finally lost his strength, he fell on his back and instantly snored. Svetlana stood up carefully so that the bed did not creak, took her pillow and covering Ivan's face with it, piled on top of him with all her might, waiting until his body stopped twitching. Monti's desk was piled high with papers. Several men were methodically walking around the office, opening all the cabinets, pulling out drawers, pulling out folders and scrutinizing their contents. Anything that caught their attention, they handed to an elegant-looking man sitting in a chair who read every page. Finally, he irritably tossed aside another document, walked over to the desk and pressed the selector button. Seconds later, the door opens and a crying secretary enters the office.
Sylvia, I don't believe you know nothing about Molnar's will.
Mr. Lawyer, I have told you 20 times that I know nothing about the will. The chief never said anything about it. He never gave me any instructions about it. You've turned this place upside down. Do you have authorization for this, or should I call the police?
Baby, don't do anything stupid. Don't get yourself in trouble.
Sylvia walked out, slamming the door loudly. Sitting down in her chair, she looked around her workplace, took out a paper box from under her desk, and began to put her things in it. As she methodically put her things away, she didn't notice some woman enter the hallway. A short light cape tied at the waist emphasized her slender figure, and a wide-brimmed hat and dark glasses concealed her face. But it was not enough to hide the fact that not so long ago she could compete with the most elegant and sexiest ladies, and even now would give a head start to many of them. It was only after the woman had sat down and placed her hat on the table that Sylvia looked up. Her reaction was as if she had seen a live Santa Claus.
Vicki, how are you here? From where? We were told you...
You were deceived. I'm alive. Not exactly healthy, but as you can see, I'm alive. Vicki took off her glasses. Her huge gray eyes, framed by dark circles, looked with a kind of sadness and sympathy at the same time. She fixed her hair with her hand, and Sylvia noticed not so much the palm of her hand, which looked like it was covered with dried parchment, as the loose hairs that were stuck between her fingers. Yes, Sylvia, it's no good, but you're looking better. How are you getting on in this hotbed of debauchery?
No, Vicki. It's like this here.
I know. That's why I'm here. Are you alone?
No, there's a lawyer there with a bunch of assistants. They're looking for some kind of will. But I know there was no will. I'd be the first to know about it. The chief didn't write any wills.
You're wrong, Sylvia. He did. Here it is.
Oh my God. How did he know he was going to die?
Don't get hysterical. Wipe your snot and call your lawyer. Mr. Feldeschi was at a loss for words when he saw the sealed envelope containing the will. But it was not the fact that it was there, but the fact that some strange woman had brought it with her. He had received an assignment from someone else, and it was unlikely that the envelope would contain what he had gotten himself into this adventure for. Why are you looking so pale, Mr. Lawyer? Call the shareholders and relatives. We'll read the will.
I'm sorry, madam. I don't know who you are or what your name is, but since you have the document in your possession, I assume you're one of Mr. Molnar's confidants.
That's right. That's exactly what I am. My name is Victoria. Anyone involved in the studio will tell you who I am. Feldeschi glanced at Sylvia, and she nodded approvingly. Do you have 24 hours to get everyone together?
That's enough. I'd like to schedule a meeting for Wednesday at 3 p.m. Is that okay with you?
Sure. Return the envelope. It'll be calmer that way.
Don't you trust me?
No. The company accompanying the lawyer left, and the hall became unaccustomedly quiet. Sylvia dumped the contents of the box on the table and began shoveling everything back into its original places. Victoria finally looked around quietly. Nothing had changed since she'd left. Even her pictures were still in their original places, though who would recognize that pretty face smiling from under the glass as a fading lady, teetering on the brink of life and death. While waiting for the appointment, Victoria walked around Budapest, which she had missed for several years of absence, although having lived here for almost 10 years, She had never loved this city, and if she were asked to write something good about it now, it would hardly be a touching story. A lot of things had happened here that she didn't want to remember, except for her happy childhood, which had flown by unnoticed behind the high walls of the Soviet military unit, and the days when her mother and father had been there for her. When Victoria entered the office, the reaction of those present was similar to that of Sylvia the day before. Only Judith, meeting her gaze, showed no emotion, only a second, barely perceptible confusion, after which she stared at her phone, pretending to be busy writing some very important text message. It was enough time for her to notice how Vicki had changed. No, not aged, even though it had been so many years since they'd last seen each other. She was different. The stamp of death on her face, they say. Victoria walked past, barely touching Judith's hair with her hand, and sat down next to the lawyer.
I hope everyone here doesn't need to explain why we are gathered here. Mr. Molnar's will is there after all. I don't know how or why this document ended up in Victoria's possession, but the fact remains. I hope you know her.
Victoria placed the envelope, sealed with a notarized sealing wax seal, on the desk and slid it toward the lawyer. There was dead silence in the office, broken only by the sound of tearing paper. Feldeschi extracted a sheet from the opened envelope and, coughing, began to read.
Istvan Molnar, being of sound mind and bright memory, wish to inform you that in the event of my death, and since you are reading this, I am dead after all my movable and immovable property, bank assets, copyrights to all my films, and ownership of the studio, I transfer to the man I have always loved, but whose life I have made hell. Let this be my request for forgiveness, an atonement for the sins I have committed before God and before her. I know there are those in this room who are hoping to get a fat piece of fat Monty, but I'm going to disappoint you. You're not going to get anything. I won't bore you, though you've probably guessed who I'm writing about. For those who don't understand, I'll tell you that the heir to everything is the one who kept this will, my love and my angel, whom I betrayed and whose love I ruined.
The lawyer tore his gaze away from the will and looked at those present. Everyone but Victoria sat stunned, having heard clearly not what they expected to hear. He took the prepared documents out of the transparent file, wrote in the missing items, and silently placed them in front of Victoria. She took a pen and without hesitation wrote at the top, "I renounce everything in favor of Judith Polgar." She put the date, signed and returned the documents to the lawyer. "Mr. Feldeschi, please authenticate them, make them public, and let's call it a day. I have a flight tonight." Passion took hold of Lena everywhere, and a seemingly innocent prank with a video chat room turned into a real addiction. Lena, like a drug addict, was constantly looking for an opportunity to get a new dose of pleasure, because what she had with her husband was no longer satisfying. The fact that Andrew also became different she, of course, noticed, but the one who brought discord to their love was far away, and it is unlikely that they will ever be together. Little by little, everything would be forgotten. But where would she go? How to live a life torn by passion? The camera on her laptop beckoned her, and the feeling that hundreds of thousands of people on the other side of the screen were watching what she was doing. Lena could almost physically feel how they were enjoying themselves at the same time with her, and it turned her on so much that nothing else could replace this feeling, comparable to the euphoria of a star standing on the stage. The only annoying thing was that Andrew was always sitting at home and simply prevented her from realizing her fantasies. Those minutes when she was able to break free from his embrace, catastrophically lacking. And even those, to put it mildly, troubles that happened to her recently, did not affect the desire to get what she wanted so much. There was no strength to fight it.
Mom, and our dacha has not yet completely collapsed?
No, everything's all right there. And why do you ask? You've never been interested in the dacha. You almost never went there.
We want to go with friends to grill kebabs. Can you give me the key?
Lena noticed that something was wrong with her mother after their last conversation. She kept hiding her eyes, fidgeting, talking confusedly, obviously thinking about something else.
Mom, you're not going to see that man again?
Number forget about him, forever.
Svetlana Vladimirovna lowered her head and began rummaging through her purse, took out a bunch of keys and, almost breaking a fingernail, removed the longest one from the ring.
Here, take it. Just be careful there. Don't break the lock. And please, no fires, because I know how your kebabs end.
Mommy, we're being careful.
The place was certainly not as cozy and modern as their apartment, but that was the least of Lena's worries. Lena turned on the computer. The chat page that loaded was a mass of unread messages with lots of exclamation points, emoticons, kisses, and pictures of giant dicks. She was clearly wanted, liked, expected. She was always naked, and only an elegant tulle mask hid her face. Nor was Lena unfaithful to her first erotic toys, which had once played the role of her lovers so skillfully. She entered the frame and, after taking a few steps, stopped in the middle of the room, as if waiting for the audience's applause. The number with 3 zeros, which stood in the corner of the monitor, at the same moment came to life and began to grow rapidly, as if excited by what she saw, and in a few seconds, it exceeded 10,000. Her body ceased to obey her mind and came completely under the control of passion. Lena began her show. The phone in her purse was bursting with the number of unanswered calls and texts from Andre. He felt something wrong when he called his wife at work to ask about some trifle. He was surprised and at the same time frightened by the employee's answer that Lena had not come in yet. His cell phone was not answering either, but Andre kept calling and sending anxious messages because the recent memories of the kidnapping were still so close. An unexpected call snapped him out of the gloom of his worries, especially if it was Judith.
Hi, who are you talking to? I've been dialing for an hour and you're always busy.
Oh my God. Is that you? I'm sorry. I'm having a little trouble here.
Should I call you later? It's important, though.
Talk to me. What's wrong?
Well, I won't take long to explain. I need you to come here. And make sure you're with Lena.
I don't get it. Why should she come?
I just thought it would be better.
I still don't get it. Better for who? Her? You want her to go back to the place where she was almost killed? Why?
I really need you to come over. There's a new movie. I want you to direct it. I'll take care of Lena. I promise she won't remember a thing. I'll give her such a tour that she won't have time to think about bad things. Don't push it. Talk her into it.
You're putting me in a stupid position. Why can't I come myself? What's the big deal?
Please do as I ask. I guarantee Lena will be happy and you'll make good money. It's a high-budget movie with good royalties. I've already booked a hotel and tickets.
So I can't get away with it?
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Okay, send me the details of the reservation. By the way, when is the flight?
Tomorrow.
Wow. We don't have time to think about it.
No. And don't forget my request. Kisses.
There were short beeps in the receiver, but Andre continued to hold it near his ear. The anxiety from which this unexpected call had distracted him returned. But before he could even think of anything bad, he was stunned by a loud ringing tone and jerked his hand away. The phone slipped out of his palm and fell to the floor, shattering into pieces. Andre quickly put the battery back in and snapped the lid shut. A minute later, the screen lit up, and the call rang again. It was Lena.
Why are you disconnecting?
It was an accident. The phone fell down. Where are you? I've called 100 times probably. What happened?
Nothing happened. I'll be there soon and then I'll tell you everything.
Are you all right?
Yes. Don't worry.
Can I pick you up somewhere?
There's no need. I'm already on my way home.
Lena made sure the phone was off, put it in her bag and went back to the room, where the computer was already bursting with a myriad of enthusiastic comments and calls to continue. She was clearly in no hurry to go home. What had happened to the will did not fit in Judith's mind in any way. It wasn't supposed to be like this. It was absurd. How could a man who had been deceived and betrayed do such a thing? To give away his most precious possession? Give it away and demand nothing in return? It was disturbing and frightening. And when the doorbell to her apartment did ring, she braced herself for the worst.
I knew you'd come.
What are you so pissed off about? Do you have anything to drink?
Cognac, okay.
Go ahead, just don't spike it with poison. I don't have long to live anyway.
You've got some jokes.
Who told you I was joking? Judith glanced furtively at Vicki. And indeed, everyone was sure she was long gone, Doctor. Duresh had accidentally let it slip. Suddenly, this ghost had materialized and made such a show of it. She pulled a bottle from the bar and filled glasses. To Monti, do you understand why I did what I did today?
I guess I do.
I'm sure Monti would approve of my decision. You're the only one of this rabble who can keep the studio going and continue what we started. Especially since you're not the last person in my life.
What kind of manager am I? I can't deal with the cockroaches in my head.
You will. You'll make it up to me. And him. Vicki turned around. Judith took her hand and squeezed it tightly. Their gazes met, and there was such sadness and hopelessness in them that it was hard to suspect a lie. It seemed as if a second more and their bodies would come together in a passionate embrace, that everything would be as it had been before. When young Judith had absorbed the basics of pleasure that Vicki had generously shared with her, implanting in her broken girl's heart an unfamiliar feeling with a strange name. Love. But now there was an abyss between them into which everything had fallen. And the man sitting in front of Judith looked remotely like the delightful woman for whom she had been willing to sacrifice her own life. Don't be so silly. Tell me, what are you going to do with the studio? Are you going to make a movie? Judith thought for a moment. Then she sat down at the table and opened her laptop.
What do you think of this girl?
Vicki sat down next to her and carefully, without asking questions, watched the video that was on the computer screen. Pretty but totally raw. Who the hell is she? Why are you asking about her?
The story's certainly not 5 minutes long. Anyway, she's the one Monti wanted to use in his movies, instead of me.
What do you mean, instead of you?
He's been really jealous lately. My fault, I gave him a reason to be jealous. So he decided to punish me. He kicked me out and promised me that she'd be his star from now on. And he was killed.
You don't know what's better for you. A live Monti and you're screwed, or a dead Monti and you're golden.
But that chocolate didn't come from him. It came from you. I can't even imagine what would have happened if Attila hadn't shot him then.
But since he did, let's not guess anymore. It's already happened. You're in charge of the studio now. Are you gonna bring that girl in? By the way, who is she and what's her name?
You'd be surprised, but she's Russian.
Wow. We have a new addition to our ranks.
Name's Lena. She's the wife of the guy in the video with her. We know each other well.
Isn't that who Monti was jealous of?
Him. He came to make a movie. Anyway, I fell in love. It was like this. Monti went crazy. This girl was kidnapped at his request, brought here. We were all shitting our pants. We thought he was gonna torture her. He's got a movie with her. He's got an investor. He's in love with her. He's even got the money to make the movie.
And she said yes?
I don't know. It all happened so fast. I still can't get over it.
Do you know how to find her?
Only through Andre, but I have no idea how to tell him.
Why tell him? Find a way to draw him out. You need to shoot something urgent. Tell him it's the most important project in your life and let him take Lena with him. Then you can figure out how to make it work. The important thing is that they come. Otherwise, you'll have problems. Investors don't like to be screwed over. He loves you, doesn't he? He must agree.
We can try. Andre will definitely be there. I'm sure he will. But here she is. After what happened to her here, I think it's gonna be hard.
Call Andre. I gotta go. There's a plane in 2 hours. Don't come looking for me. And try to be happy for a while longer.
There's something else I wanted to tell you.
Later. So we'd have a reason to meet. Andre couldn't sleep. He looked out the window at the clouds below and he still couldn't believe that he had managed to persuade Lena so quickly. Or rather, he hadn't had to persuade her at all. He had just mentioned that he should go to Budapest again, and she had immediately offered to take her with him.
I will not interfere with you. Only 2 conditions. An apartment with good internet and please don't fuck Judith.
I won't be able to. She said she'll arrange a cultural program for you, and I'll work with another group.
That's fine. We'll have a lot of fun. First of all, we'll go to a striptease. We'll take the boys off, so you can feel what I felt when you cheated on me. Why don't we hook up with her? I could.
Better with her. I'll feel better that way.
Okay, it's a deal. I'm off to pack.
The plane landed so softly that Lena didn't even wake up. It was the second time she'd made this trip in such a state recently, but the dream and this one were very different from each other. The conversation with the investors was so tough that Judith had no choice. She knew it was dangerous to joke with these people because she had witnessed many unpleasant conversations. When Monti had turned from a powerful and unshakable man into a pathetic puppy, ready to lick the dirty shoes of his masters. And Judith hated to be in his place.
Sorry I'm late. I was dealing with some financial matters.
Judith held out her hand to Lena. She could hardly hold back the wave of sarcastic phrases that were brewing in her head and bursting out, stood up, which allowed her to look up at her rival from below, and smiling with restraint squeezed her rival's hand firmly, but in the end she still couldn't hold back.
You probably remember that my name is Lena, and I'm Andre's wife.
I know. Let's get down to business. We don't have much time and we have a lot of things to do.
Judith handed Andre a folder on the table.
Here's the information on the movie. Sylvia is aware of everything and will take you to the studio right now while we whisper with Lena about our plans.
Just like that, from ship to ball, no dinners and no long talks. Without admonitions and stories about what the movie should be, who's starring, and so on.
Yeah. Why drag it out? Men work, women rest. Sylvia, we're done. You can check out.
The bewildered Andrew lingered in the doorway of the office, cast a perplexed glance at Judith, but without waiting for any response, went out. A few seconds later, the sound of a car driving away came through the open window.
Now that we're alone, I'd like to talk to you seriously. Can we switch to you?
Of course, since we're almost family.
Actually, I'm not going to arrange any cultural program. You're here because Monti wanted you here and because I want you here.
What the fat bastard wanted, I know. What do you want from me?
Judith unfolded the laptop. Lena expected to see anything but this. On the screen was a video of her chatting.
Where did you get this from?
Say thank you to Monti. He's the one who found and identified you. And the trouble is, he was given good money for you. Now there's no way I can jump off this train. I don't have a choice. Then you don't have a choice. I don't know how you're gonna feel about this. Maybe you're gonna run away, maybe you're gonna get in my face, but either way, if you say no now, this video will be given to Andre and I'll send a copy to your mom. I'm sure they won't like it. Don't think I'm blackmailing you? No, I'm actually blackmailing you. I could give you a few hours to think about it, but what's the point? So I'm asking you a direct question. Would you be willing to do porn? And to make things easier for you, if you do, I'll do it with you. I'll show you everything, I'll tell you everything, I'll help you. What do you say?
Lena had said yes to herself a long time ago back then, during her first visit to the set with Monti. The mere thought of it excited her to such an extent that she had no strength to hold back. But how to expose her hidden feelings to the public? How to cross the line of public morality? And what, after all, Andre would say, and even worse, what her mother would say. What difference does it make?
Where do I have to sign?
I assume that's a yes?
Well, it's not like I ran off and ripped your face off, even though I had every right to.
I adore you. You must forgive me. I was so tired of it all that Andre seemed to me than some angel of purity.
I'll be your angel now. Where shall we start?
I like your approach to things. And we'll start with a routine.
And what is routine in this difficult case?
A formality without which you can't get on set. You have to take tests and go through a full medical examination.
If you mean tripper, syphilis, AIDS, I think in my case there will be no problem.
Well, that's good. Then I'm calling the clinic.
I can imagine my first night with Andre after work. We'll have to fake it. By the way, you always fake it during filming, don't you?
It depends. But in most cases, yes. Personally, I didn't consider it sex at all. I'll be honest with you, just don't take offense, okay? I had my first orgasm with your Andre.
The night was strange. Lena and Andre were lying on a huge hotel bed, and if it weren't for the surrounding darkness, their gazes would have given them away. Each of them was thinking about their own things, trying their best to show that they were only thinking about what was happening to them here and at this very second. Lena felt nothing. Her body was living its own life, beyond the control of her consciousness, which was far away, and everything there was so excitingly realistic that her body took this excitement for granted and mechanically reacted to the touch of Andre's cold hands.
That's divine. You were simply marvelous.
It was my best sex ever. Can we do it again?
Let's save our strength for tomorrow.
Let's do it.
Lena kissed her husband on the cheek and, slipping out from under the blanket, ran to the bathtub. She turned on the water and turned in front of a huge mirror. Resting on the very floor, began under the warm stream of the shower to quickly wash off all these lies. The lobby of Dr. Deresh's clinic was as quiet and sparsely populated as ever, with nurses in short white coats scurrying back and forth, looking a lot like girls from fetish movies. Their heels tapped melodiously, moving away and coming closer. And when they passed very close, showering Lena with the scent of perfume mixed with the odor of medicines, it was possible to notice that there was nothing under the white translucent gowns. Judith and Lena were sitting in comfortable armchairs waiting for one of the girls to take out their cards with the results of the tests. One quick glance was enough to notice how Lena had changed over the days. To say she'd gotten prettier was to say nothing. Something subtly beautiful had appeared in her. And it wasn't new clothes and not flashy makeup, not changed hairstyle, and not sparkling clean skin. It was her eyes. There was no sadness in them anymore. They glowed with the expectation of a miracle. When the door of the office opened and Dr. Deresh appeared on the threshold, Judith stood up excitedly, because this had never happened before. He never came out to his patients. It was above his dignity.
Ladies, please come in to see me.
Just the two of us?
Yes, just the two of us.
Lena, come on. He's inviting us to his place for some reason.
Is something wrong?
The hell he knows. Let's go.
The girls sat down across from the doctor and he placed the legibly written medical report forms in front of them. Judith looked at her own sheet, afraid to touch it.
I don't understand anything. Explain what's going on.
Mr. Deresh, let's have no foreplay.
I think you won't be able to film anytime soon.
Diagnosis.
I don't know how to tell you.
Tell it like it is.
Judith, explain at last what's going on. I don't know what you're talking about. Is something wrong?
Everything is wrong. He said we can't film.
Why not?
How the hell should I know? Don't get in the way. Let me finish with him. Doctor, don't drag it out. Why can't we film? What contagion have you found in us?
I don't think it's an infection.
Then why?
The fact that you're pregnant.
Pregnant how?
Usually like all women are. Don't you know that sometimes you have it?
If you don't tell me what happened, I'm going to leave.
Now, one more question for him. Is she pregnant too?
Yes, I said you.
How far along is she?
3 weeks, and anticipating your next question, I'll tell you right off the bat that she's exactly the same due date. It feels like you were conceived practically on the same day.
What? Tell me.
We're pregnant.
Oh my God. How?
Are you stupid? Don't you know how it happens? And I thought it was me that was sick after the sushi. I thought I was poisoned. Stupid. But here's how it turned out.
Oh, moms, and what to do now?
What do? Give birth.